There we go. Hello, chat. I'm back. Sorry, I have no idea what happened there. Yay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Right, where is SOP? There we go. I'm gonna have this open just in case. Alright, let me see if you guys can... there we go. Ta-da! Coming in. I thought it was, but yeah. Pick both of them up from in front of the mall. I need to make a character. I need to make a... 1 second. And then I didn't realize I need to make a character. 1 second. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Is it on this one? Need to remember where I've put it. There we go. Okay. How does one... I don't remember how to do this. Yeah. There we go. There is she. There she is. Oh, yeah, I need to give her a name. Yep, that's a good point. 5'3". There we go. I think I gave it the wrong. It didn't, so it's a different kind of server. Huh? No, it's a different server. Yeah. It's a different because it's a no OC training. They said they'd pick us up. Yeah, that's why. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Oh, hey ma'am. You're here for the re-education as well?
Hi, what was that?
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing very okay. I cannot describe how surprised I was to see that name pop up on the list of people coming here.
What, really? Why?
Yeah. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Let me just throw you a cookie. Wait, hold on. I don't have any.
Cookie!
Alright, we're just waiting for the other one. It's gonna be very intimate re-education, I suppose, with only 2 of you. Yeah, it's gonna be boring because there's not gonna be a lot of it, but it also means I'm gonna go more in depth and you're gonna actually learn more.
Okay, that's not bad then. That's chill.
EMS. Ugh.
Right, chat. So it's gonna be a little bit OC, a little bit in character.
I apologize for having to, shout it, but I had a feeling. I peeked a few times, didn't see a response from me. I'm like, yeah.
Sorry.
Someone probably didn't notice.
I didn't realize.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's because I don't check my,
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, trust me. As soon as I saw that you're live, I imagined there's no way in hell you're gonna see that. And I guess re-education doesn't scream academy as much in title, though.
Exactly.
People could assume that it's
love that it sounds a little bit like a cult thing, and I love it.
What are you talking about?
I don't
there
know.
are no cults at San Andreas
sorry.
Medical
Of,
Services.
of course not. Of course
Only
not.
the greater good.
The greater good for the greatest of goods. Oh, I see someone running.
For our twisted
Sup?
mix of capitalism and communism. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. All right. So I guess screw it. Let's go to the hospital.
Okay.
And on the way, we'll have a little chat.
Oh Lord.
You like this? This is
Nice.
Chariot, our mountain rescue vehicle, or as I like to call it, for people who don't know how to fly helicopter and have to use this.
I love helicopters. Are we gonna get to fly helicopters?
Absolutely. There is no certs. As soon as you are a full TACmed, you get to fly and drive whatever the hell you want.
Wow.
And yes, please, we need more fucking pilots. Nobody fucking knows how to fly.
It's been a while. It's been like a year and a bit since I flew, but I think I still got it.
Well,
Maybe.
considering I flew a helicopter here for the first time in like 8 years, and I have the best track record out of everyone in the hospital, I don't think the bar is that high to clear. So you should be fine as long as you're like semi-aware of what you're doing. Now let's actually go downstairs. Meantime, either of you have an idea of a call sign you'd like? I'm not in charge. If I was, I wouldn't let you pick a call sign, but I guess some people are nicer than me, so you get to pick.
I
guess
don't-
who didn't get to pick? I didn't get to pick.
I don't believe they're updated.
They're not updated.
Well,
I don't believe
Are
they're
they?
updated.
no, they should be quite up to date. There might be like one not done. One doctor recently changed the call sign.
Chat,
but
what call sign should we get?
I'll go ahead and link you both the site on which. Actually, I don't need to link you. Just give me a number between 1 and 200, and I'll tell you if it's available or not. And if it is, you can go ahead and change your name in government Discord to include that call sign as well.
It's painful. All of the numbers are you.
Just whatever between 1 and 200. It's not that difficult.
It is difficult.
It is difficult, right? Thank you.
It's not
We have to
difficult.
remember it.
Also, let me know if I'm too loud, too quiet. I've been messing with my mic a lot recently, so I don't know.
Oh Lord, I gotta think. Can't set.
Eden, one number between 1 and 200.
Every fiber of my body was stopping myself from pulling out the phone when I'm about to go to a
It's
different
taken.
tab.
I understand.
Is 66 taken?
Let me see. 066. It is not taken. You can be 066 if you wish.
Ooh, either that or
Never mind. I'm stupid. I apologize.
Is 76 taken as well? Either?
I would assume so.
Ooh.
Yes, it is.
What about number 4?
Number 4 is available.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
What
Alright.
about
So
67?
again- No, 66 is available. 67 is taken. 76
Okay,
is taken.
66, fine. 66
Alright,
is
go
fine.
ahead and update your government names. 066 and 004. Yes, that's what you wanted.
Yes, I believe so.
Alright, yeah. You just add that capital M dash and your call sign. On the roster, it shows up as double digits. In the live server, we use every call sign as triple digits. So just, you gotta put O in front of it So you're gonna be 004 and 066.
I think I've done it.
And once you're done with that, go ahead and show me your ID so I can add you to the Oregon here so you can actually have access to stuff.
Ooh, alright. Bam. Oh, that's a
All
pretty
right.
picture.
505.
Bam.
I didn't see that. Give me a second.
Sorry.
One at a time. All right, it's 505. Let me just not add you to Rangers by mistake.
Ooh, tomato soup.
That's one. And the other
66.
is 100. 5.
There you go.
4?
584.
No. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
Totally not, because you two are joining at the same time, so of course you have the same, well, next to each other.
Next to each other. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
We got call signs. We got that. Your rank should have access to everything. All right. Who's up for a little chat while we walk around the hospital? Because I'm assuming both of you could use a little tour.
Sure.
The hospital is still new to a
Hell
lot of
yeah.
people, so. As you saw, we entered through the back entrance. This is where you as TACMED are gonna be entering most of the time. You know, this is our garage. Only us and PD have keys to it, and I guess DOJ has keys to everything, but that's besides the point. This is where you're gonna be pulling out your ambulances. This is where you're gonna be, bringing your patients, your 95s who are suspects in custody, since we treat those as well, all of that. This is where, PD is gonna come in for stuff and everything, so you're gonna be spending a lot of time in garage, and probably if you ever sit doing nothing at hospital, the only excuse for that would be if you're sitting in a garage and waiting for a team to come back to triple badge with, or quadruple badge, or double badge. It is a policy. We force people to. We would prefer everyone to triple badge at all times. Like, it depends, at a time where we are low in numbers, but there's a lot of calls. Sometimes command makes a call. Okay, we're gonna split the teams of 2 if we have enough people who are knowledgeable enough at work and not just all trainees. We might just collect the teams of 4 as well. Doesn't matter. Just like on average, right? We require that one ambulance is a team of 3 TACMED, right? We have a driver, we have a passenger, and then whoever's sitting in the back. Our ambulances can hold up to 7 people, not including the fact that you can just stand inside of it and you'll be fine. So our ambulances actually can carry, like, physically as many people as you. Yeah, I mean, I've driven like 20 people plus in this ambulance before. So.
Oh.
Yeah. There was like right before the wipe, a bunch of ladies got drunk and just started causing mayhem in the state. So I just loaded them up into the ambulance and just drove them to the farthest liquor store in the whole state and just left them there. That was fun.
That sounds fun.
Let's see. All right. So much for a fucking tour. I guess both of you know how to use the valet. It's pretty. I would hope that both of you know how to use a valet.
I've never had a car before.
Oh, well, come over here and take a look.
Welcome.
Obviously,
give me
you're
one second.
gonna have 2 options. Well, you won't have an option to park a vehicle if you haven't sat in a vehicle. To park a vehicle, you just gotta have keys to it. So, if you are the one driving the ambulance, you pull out the key, you come here and you park it, or you can leave keys in the ambulance and park it. But for safety reasons, it's a habit that we always require drivers to pull out the key out of the ambulance. You don't have to lock it since we don't have valuable stuff in it, but we don't want just people being able to get in the ambulance and steal it. That's why we take the key out. But if you take a look under SAMs, there's gonna be everything that you can see on the live server on here is something you can use. It's going to be General Fleet plus Chariot, the special little ambulance we came in here. That's Mountain Rescue. People are also assigned their private ambulances once they are either a specialist, which is like senior TACMED person, right? Normal TACMED, what you're aiming for is going to be operator. That's after you're done with training. Those don't get an assigned ambulance. You get to use the normal pool, unless you want to splurge out, because you do make quite a lot of money working here, especially if you know don't actually do anything other on your character. You just play Sam's on it, right? Then you go off duty, you log off, you plug back in, you go on duty. So you're literally just making a shitload of money and not having time to spend it. We are allowing people to just buy an ambulance for themselves. So if you ever if you're not getting promoted but you want your own ambulance, just make some money and we'll let you buy it and you'll have your own ambulances.
Nice.
Alright.
But that's that's besides the point. Well, it's very rare that people put away broken ambulances and stuff. We are very strict and good at teaching people not to do that, unlike PD and the Rangers. So yeah. Funnily enough, this vibe of totalitarian communism, everything else actually works, and people are very strict about how they play. Who would have thought? Like learning through RP is very effective rather than just having a DM once a month about not putting your vehicles away or something, or wasting a budget.
Okay.
All right, so that's the valet. Let's go ahead and take a look. There are two sorts of doors, two pairs of doors. They both are around 95 rooms, who are over here. Yep. These are our 95 rooms. These have locks on the live server, and this is where we put people who need treatment who are also in police custody, right? So they cannot escape. So we
These
got
look cozy.
rooms of
These look cozy.
Very cozy.
Yeah, it is very cozy. Like it's actually more cozy than treatment. I could not count how often I just bring people here instead if they're like platinum or someone I like, just so they can enjoy something in peace rather than being cluttered up.
That
in the
guy even
treatment
has
floor
a
upstairs.
teddy bear.
Yeah, that is the platinum.
No.
That is the platinum 95 room. Yeah,
God
don't worry.
damn.
Don't look in the eyes. There's no cameras in the eyes of the teddy bear. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, go ahead and shout or yell, whichever you want. Obviously, because
Okay.
we want to hear each other.
Yabba
all the time.
dabba doo.
There's no need for realism here. There are some
Realism.
doors behind us was the lab.
What's that?
Here we have where I sleep.
Oh,
I
cool.
love
morgue.
morgue.
Yeah, we love morgue. You're gonna be dealing
Dead
with dead
people.
bodies.
Fun.
Actually, since it's only two of us, I'm actually gonna go. I'm not gonna go through the details because we don't have all the what do you call them, templates on here on the dev server. But I'm gonna explain so you know what to expect when you have to deal with the dead body, so you're not stumped because I'm
body.
surprised how little people remember how to deal with it. Every time I teach somebody in character, I just give it a month and all of a sudden everybody forgets. There's the elevator. That's one of the ways of getting on the proper treatment floor, which is upper pillbox. There's no stairs, so you have to use elevators. We're gonna go to the other side now to show you the rest of this floor. Now, keep in mind, these doors through the hallway always will remain unlocked. All of this is accessible to public. The only thing we locked is like actual rooms to side, like 95 rooms, so people can't get in the bed and get magically healed with no staff, right? Or like the laboratory. So
Yeah, that makes
but like
sense.
the hallway itself is unlocked. PD will be pissed because it's a 95 rooms, and like, why the hell do we allow people to just walk by 95 rooms? And every time they're pissed, I remind them that this is a hospital, not a prison. We're supposed to have police officers here dealing with the people they arrested and not expecting us to keep prisoners, right? So every time there's a police officer complaining that a suspect escaped, I just remind them, hey, was there a police officer here with the suspect? No? Oh, I guess you didn't do your job. Fuck off. Yeah, so these doors, all of these are left unlocked. So basically, all of the public has access to the elevators from one side to the other. I'm gonna teach you also a little trick about the elevators because they are very tricky how they work, especially when bringing dead
people up.
on. Yeah. Are you aware of all the ways we can carry people who are dead?
No.
All right. There are two ways to carry someone on the server. There's carry, which you have two options for now. All of them, both of them do the same thing. And escorting someone. Escorting someone only works if they're cuffed, zip tied, or dead. If they're cuffed or zip tied, you grab them by the cuffs and you pull them by them. If they're dead, you actually pick them up and you hold them as if they're on a stretcher or something. So that's the difference. I'm not gonna go into details of that right now. I'll go into that later. But for the elevator, you always want to carry. Escorting is fucked when it comes to elevators. How all of us who are experienced and have done it for a while do it is we escort people out in the field because it allows us to use the radio. When you're carrying someone, you cannot use the radio.
Oh.
So you can use the radio while escorting. So we use escorting to move people around the field, and then to move through elevators, we quickly drop them and we put them on our shoulder or just carry them. And also another trick when using elevators, when you actually have a patient, always go alone. Carry your patient and then go alone. As soon as you try to take other people's with you, the issue is the elevator is like random when it comes to the priority of who they take upstairs. The only thing is you're usually at the end of the lineup. So if you take people with you upstairs, right? Because you can, on the elevator, you can click
So
bring
you don't
occupants,
use
right?
bring occupants. You just go up.
Yeah, because that usually leaves you to be taken last. And you know what happens when the elevator tries to take the person in your arms first?
They just
They get dropped,
Yep.
and then you have to go back and pick them back up. So when you have a patient, carry them and go alone in the elevator. It doesn't matter if there's other people. It's you're not gonna encounter barely any problems. Because people kept complaining about the elevator. I'm like, I've never had any problems with the elevator because I use it like that. Anyway, I'm gonna bring you to third floor now. Don't worry, we're just going through little tips and tricks right now. Let's actually head all the way back to the front entrance so you have some sort of direction, because the most confused you'll ever be is
My gosh,
getting straight out of the elevator.
Yeah, this hospital is
Yep.
so confusing.
Trust me, you'll get used to it pretty quickly. It's literally just a square. This is the one corner, but all right. So this is obviously the front entrance, and we have the miscellaneous stuff, right? The pharmacy and the cafe that have encounters with, and we usually either tell people to fuck off or force them to RP their way into it. We don't just let them get it for free, because what are you doing here grinding encounters? We're gonna make you RP. But anyway, this is the reception. I guess we sometimes have receptionists working here these days, but both of these doors lead the same way. Both of these doors obviously lead to the treatment floor. If you take the left, you have to turn right. If you take the right, you have to turn left. That's as simple as that. So let's actually use these ones, because there are some interesting rooms behind these ones as well that are going to be useful for you. This room actually is our locker room. Obviously, all of these doors should remain locked. We're on a dev server, but everything that isn't just a main hallway remains locked at all times. This is the locker room. Each of these actually is a separate instance, and they're all privatized. So you basically get 150 kilograms of storage here. That's private to you. Nobody can access it. So if you ever get fired and you need to empty out your locker, you're gonna have to have someone else come up here with you and RP it out, taking everything out of the locker, because there's no way to actually, for somebody else to take a look into your locker.
I see. So you got three different lockers, but they're all yours.
Yes, they're
Gotcha.
all yours. On the live server, people leave tags on them, so just take one random one, but you have three separate lockers if one is not enough space. One of mine is just filled to the brim with guns, but that's besides the point. And the shower if you want to use that as well. So this is where you're going to use your stuff that you don't want to take on duty, and very important, all of your on-duty stuff if you're going off-duty. If you're going to be role-playing going off-duty, you better put all of your fucking equipment, even as small things as uniform, even the watch, radio, even if it's turned off, anything that you have acquired, even the knife or the flashlight, that's the exact same that you get from the ammunition, but you actually get from here and is inscribed with Sam's stack. Everything has to stay in here. If we catch you going, off duty with your Sam's equipment, you're gonna get in trouble. Probably not gonna get fired right off the bat unless you majorly fuck up. But just don't do it. Don't do it. Receptionists do it all the time, and they get. I can't count the amount of receptionists I had to fire because they just think they could just turn off the radio and just leave with all the Sam's equipment on them.
Is
While
that
it's
why I
very
never
s-
see any?
Hmm?
Is that why I never see any?
You don't see any because everyone who becomes a receptionist actually wants to be a doctor, so they just end up becoming a doctor after like a day, and then we end up with no receptionists again. We're gonna do something in character soon to hire like actual receptionists
Ooh, that's cool.
so they can
Yeah.
help out
They
with
can
stuff.
make
Like we're
money and
doing it
stuff.
right now, but there's like we already do that. We do hire
That's
receptionists
cool.
for that purpose. We're just not pushing for that in character. But it's I as someone who does a lot of shadowy things in the hospital, there's a lot of things brewing. So hopefully I'm gonna bring in quite a lot of receptionists. All right, so that's the locker room, obviously locked at all times. Important if you're actually going off duty. And meeting room. God, I fucking hate it. It's cramped.
Oh my
I
gosh.
get... Yep. This is where you're gonna come if you want to come to the meeting. We're still having only one meeting a day. A few hours from now. How many hours? Like 7, 8, like 4 or 5 hours from now. Somewhere.
So I'm never gonna be in their green.
Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna eventually establish a EU meeting because we actually have we have the exact same amount of stuff for EU and NA shift because most people who are running the hospital and still are EU. So naturally, the recruitment is always stronger for the EU hours.
Which is very
because of
rare
that,
because usually PD is the complete opposite.
Yeah. Yep. So we absolutely like in the morning when the server is dead, like it's very, very often that TACMED is the strongest presence in the whole state. Like there's one ranger, maybe 2 police officers, and I don't know, like 6 TACMED on duty. So that's fun,
Yeah,
which is good, right? Because like you want the whole server covered, and since the server is so huge and has so many people playing at the same time, it's like. Anyway, yeah, that's the meeting room. You're gonna maybe go there once a day, maybe never. Nothing interesting happens other than some things. We share most important details through your MDT that you're gonna be able to read. I'm gonna yell at you if you don't, if you go on duty and cannot waste 2 seconds to just look up, at a single sentence to find out. All right. So now we reach the corner of the square, right? The 2 doors from the reception over there, and this is where the treatment floor is. And obviously, OR rooms, not something you're gonna visit often unless there's no doctors on duty, which hopefully will not be happening from now. We have a lot. Obviously, treatment. We don't have any platinum beds yet. We have very limited beds, actually. It's very often we get overwhelmed with the amount of patients. Same for
especially in the
95 rooms.
evenings.
We only have like 6 95 rooms and these beds. So we often run out of space. Sadly, it's funny. We got a bigger hospital, but less capacity for patients. Same for ICU rooms. We have less ICU rooms than we had. So yeah, we're totally, we're filled to the fucking brim. But this is where you're gonna bring your patients if they need, general treatment. It's all up to you if you want to go ahead and help them with that. If you want to RP, a nurse or a quote-unquote local doctor helping them, you don't actually have to come here. The only rule is if they actually need surgery and there's no doctors on duty and you bring them into surgery, the only rule is that you RP helping a doctor with the surgery, not doing it yourself, right?
Gotcha.
Your emergency services, you're here to at most assist, right? You can be more than happy to pluck out people's fucking bullets from their shoulder if they're not dying. But as soon as there's somebody with something actually serious dying and they need to go to the OR, you just don't RP as if it's just you yourself going. You're going with a doctor, even if there's no doctor available, right? There's always a local doctor. I call them local doctors here. I'm allergic to the word local while playing on the server. I'm not gonna use it. I just call them doctor and I just give them random names, right? Usually people call them nurse or Dr. Beyonce since Nancy died, and then one of the Nancy died a long time ago. Nancy died before wipe. Yes, we had a whole deal because one of the people used Dr. Nancy as power gamey because, you know,
Oh.
oh, Dr. Nancy is saying the care here is not sufficient, so they need to be, you know, taken out elsewhere. So our way of dealing with it, you know, instead of suspending them was like, okay, I guess Nancy died. Good luck having to, you know, use that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, but one of the people that works at the hospital ended up making a nurse Nancy that died like fucking 3 times since then because she stabbed me a few times before the flood, and now she's back and actually probably gonna be working here.
Oh.
I'll talk with Nicotine about it, but I think we're gonna keep her just for the fact because people still haven't caught on to the Nancy thing, even though it was like announced and a big thing back in the day that she died. So we recently had someone use Dr. Nancy in a court case again, and I think we're just gonna keep that Dr. Nancy employed just for the sake if they actually, you know, use that in a court case so we can actually at the last second, you know, call for witness Dr. Nancy and have her say, I didn't do shit.
That's smart.
I was not even here. Yeah, we'll see.
That's funny.
So this is the treatment floor. This is where you're gonna be bringing all of your patients, unless they're 95 or I don't know, you want to go to the other
Good.
ones. These two are the OR rooms where people go into surgery, and then here's a little wing for ICU and miscellaneous. Here's this room over here
see.
is like a little office that we have little meetings in one-on-one. If you get invited there, you're probably in trouble. Have fun. And
Hey, I got
then
hired
these
in that
two-
room. Am
Yeah,
I in
got hired
trouble?
in that.
Yeah, well, I guess you're in trouble. And then these two
Oh,
wings
no.
are ICU rooms. These ones here have 3 beds per room. These ones have 1 bed per room. Or
And they're all
the exact
interlinked.
opposite. No, they're not. They're not. These
Oh.
doors don't work back there. They're the doors to the bathroom,
Ah,
but
there's
we
a
don't
door, but
actually
it's
have a
locked.
bathroom. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know, people can't claim there's no bathroom in the
Yeah.
in their room. Yeah, and these are absolutely stacked. We on our MDT we have paperwork for all of
Wow.
them. You notice they have locks on them. Please never fucking lock them unless there is a specific
gosh,
reason
yeah.
why we need to lock them, right? Because we have patients inside and we don't want role players waking up after, you know, being in a coma for a week and then not being able to walk out of the room because God forbid, I don't know, they wake up at a time where there's no staff and they have to, I don't know, call police to be let out, and it's just embarrassing. It's just we never lock doors that patients are behind, right? Because unless like there are special circumstances. I don't know. A police officer gets chased by a serial killer. They get hurt. They haven't caught the serial killer, and the police officer has to go to the ICU. Then I guess we can decide to leave the doors locked because A, police officers have access to the locks, right? B, there might be in danger, so they wanna for protection, you know, be behind locked doors. That's fine. Like there can be RP reasons, and if there is, there's paperwork behind saying, hey, keep these doors locked. By default, every ICU room remains unlocked because we don't want situations where people are locked. It happens all the fucking time. I've spent almost over half a year by now yelling at people to stop locking them. It doesn't work. They keep locking them. We'll get there one day.
One day.
I believe that you will not be part of the problem. I believe that you will be part of the solution. And
Oh,
if
hell
you
yeah.
disappoint me, I will be very disappointed.
We're pure innocence.
Mm-hmm. All right. And last floor. Can anybody guess what it is?
The roof. The roof.
Yeah, helicopter
actually.
plate.
A helicopter. Yep. Nope. Literally just a hallway with nothing behind these doors, and just here. We got a little fuel station, so be careful about that. But I guess we don't have to take helicopters out for refuel at the marina or Sandy anymore, and we just do it over here. Do we have a helicopter? Yes, we do. Hey, look at that. You like it?
Hey.
That's our
Meow.
helicopter.
Hello.
Actually, go
How
ahead.
many seats does it have?
It only has 4 seats. It
Okay.
has the same. You come here. I wanna see if. There you go.
Ooh.
Go ahead. We're gonna take it and just. I don't know. We'll take a second. You go ahead and fly while I give a little speech. Let's check if you're, you know, actually capable. All right. So while we have our pilot reminding themselves how controls of this thing work, little thing about your role here as part of TACMED. As soon as you become part of TACMED, part of SAMS, part of the organization, right? You're no longer just a role player. Now you're a role player on a whitelisted server at a whitelisted job. That means you have a little bit more responsibility because you're no longer just playing a character. Now you're also expected to be here to aid in other people's role play rather than focus on your own, right? So while we are obviously loving whenever people put their own spin on stuff, there's always that element that you have to remember that while you're not just an NPC, that is part of the job description, right? You are here to help people facilitate their RP, which in their case would like mostly be medical and stuff, which means we expect everybody to respect any sort of RP style they encounter when it comes to patients, right? We expect you to respect it, and we respect you to the best of your ability. Roll with it, right? It doesn't matter what your own preferences are. Obviously, you can choose to engage less with something, but we will not accept somebody ignoring or disrespecting other people's roleplay if it's not the style you enjoy, right? People like to have goofy fun. People like to be extremely serious, and other than your personal character spin on interactions, we expect you to stay in the lanes of what the patient is expecting, right? If you get no feedback from the patient, then obviously you just throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks, right? But if somebody
Read the room kind of thing.
Yeah, very much. That's specifically the sentence we use, and I've said it so many times during so many of these training sessions that I'm allergic to it and I've stopped doing it. But yes, please read the room, right? If somebody is unconscious, isn't using the VoIP, and is just sending detailed me's of injury, you're not gonna then go ahead and treat the injury as a joke, right?
It's a helicopter chat.
Whining and screaming because I don't know, it's Stanley Pritchett again, and he has blown up a fifth plane today trying to get another terrorism charge, and I don't know, his whole body is mangled because he's been playing with emotes too much, and it's all fucked up, right? We're not gonna expect you to ridicule. Sorry, we're not gonna allow you to ridicule that as well, right? And PurpleRP is very much about allowing all sorts of RP to thrive. So I have high hopes with both of you to do very good at that. Just read the fucking room. It's not that difficult. But yeah, don't think of yourself as just an NPC, right? You're here to have fun. You're here to provide RP. We what is the word? We not recommend. Something like recommend. I don't know. Synonym.com, please help me. No. We encourage. There we go. We encourage limited use of me's actually. While some people have that as a preferred way of communicating. No, keep the key.
Oh. Well, too late.
Keep the key and put it away.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey there. I'm with you.
All right. Well, we didn't die, so already doing a lot better than most of our people. Don't worry. If you ever wanna train and there's slow time on the server, you just ask for it, and somebody who knows how to fly will be more than happy to help you out with that. And as I said, it's not a high bar to become a operator, and once you are a full operator, and you don't.
And it's actually funny as hell rescuing people from the mountains on a helicopter.
Yeah, trust me. I know.
Until you fly into the mountain.
Well,
yeah. I mean, my character had someone literally rescuing her from Mount Chiliad, and whilst they were trying to rescue her, the person that came off the helicopter got hit by the blades and they got downed, and they started sliding down the mountain. It makes for really funny RP.
Yeah. That's how I can tell it wasn't my rescue, because I have a perfect track record of
You're gonna
helicopter
jinx
rescues.
yourself.
No, I will not. I have been saying this for over half a year. I haven't jinxed myself once. I crashed my helicopter once, and it wasn't even my fault. It was during the fucking flood for the wipe that I parked my helicopter at top of Mount fucking Maze Bank Tower with a bunch of other
shit.
attackmen that we just all huddled together for the last moments. and fucking Maddie, who plays Chloe, one of the TACMed, fucking turned on her helicopter, and then the blades hit mine and pushed me off, but she didn't tell me until like the next day, and the whole day I was depressed thinking I actually caused the helicopter to crash, and she took fucking 24 hours to tell me that she was the one who crashed my helicopter herself.
No.
I was so depressed. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Gave you a little shtick about the RP.
Oh.
We went through the tour, so I guess now it's time to actually start learning stuff. Let's go,
Lord.
everyone.
Learning.
Yay, learning.
Yeah,
I love learning.
It's gonna be fun. Obviously, these remain locked as well.
Mm-hmm.
Already did lock 'em. It's a weird
Mhm.
habit.
Mm-hmm. Just don't be like PD. PD locks every door they walk across. You're gonna have to walk through the first floor pretty often and find that PD locks the doors because they assume there are 95s nearby, so they should be locked. But we're in charge here and we keep them unlocked. Let's go to first floor.
Oh.
Here we go.
Ambulance.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we're coming here to a place that's very special. The armory. This is where we have storage with all the equipment that has been purchased before and isn't used. This is where we buy new equipment. This is where we repair equipment. This is also where we have disposal. The only actual functioning trash bin in the state. Our government disposals. You can actually put whatever you want in them, and during restart it gets wiped. Because if you notice, the actual trash cans in the city, they don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, they don't despawn the items you put in them. So actually putting stuff in the trash bin is one way of making sure they never disappear. But if you don't want to make a mess on the floor, you just put them here in disposal. Alrighty. We have a fuck off giant poster here on the live server that says a lot of things. But the most important thing that it says is check storage first. As you both have probably noticed by now, we run a very tight ship when it comes to type of RP vibe we give off. Very, totalitarian, communist, whatever you want to call it. It's like there was, corruption, embezzlement at the hospital, and we're dealing with it, and we're not allowing, any more such things to happen, which means we're being very strict on everything. You don't have to worry too much OC about it. It's mostly for RP fun, right? If you by mistake buy something, you will not be fired on the spot. But we're gonna yell at you as if you're getting fired on the spot for making the smallest mistake. So I hope you can handle that OC. Like
I think so.
SAMS is a very toxic work environment, but for once it's an RP toxic environment and not actual toxic environment.
Yay.
Wow, we're actually all nice OC, and we and it's all in character, and we yell at you in character and we pretend to be real rude and stuff, but we're not actually. So hopefully it's a change of pace. Anyway, we're gonna get you all dressed up. First up on the live server, you would obviously always check storage for anything that you're picking up from here, right? You need a new uniform, you need something, you always check storage. That is a crucial thing that you're gonna have to learn. But for now, obviously we're on dev server, there's some stuff in storage, but we're not gonna go through all of that. I want all of you to open the closet for me. If you notice, actually, since storage is a actual storage, only one person can access at a time. Supplies and other stuff is like a shop, so everybody can access at the same time.
I see.
So we're gonna go ahead and get you all dressed up. Let's take a look at the hats. Can you guess which one you're gonna be wearing?
The
Well,
cap.
it's not gonna be the second one.
Yeah.
Technically there's no rules for or against wearing the second one. It's just the overseer hat that became the meeting/command hat by now. But yeah, you're gonna be wearing the cap. The cap is requirement for initiates, so we can tell that you're a trainee. We're probably gonna force you to put a hair tie or hair bun on your hair so it doesn't stick out too much through the hat. It's okay. You're just gonna have to get a promotion quickly if you don't like how your hair looks. But go ahead and grab that and put it on and see how your hair looks. because I'm positive both of your hairstyles are
Yeah.
not made for hats. Yep,
Nope.
they're not. But
look
congratulations, you can either just tie as a hair tie or hair bun altogether. You're gonna go ahead and
Hell
just
yeah.
tuck it all in.
Hold on, I want to look at the. It
Perfect.
looks a bit awkward, but slay.
Just just get promoted. All right. If you take a notice at the shirts, there are obviously all the styles. You can wear whatever style you want. As an initiate, you might be forced to wear whatever is available in storage, right? Even if it's not the style you want. But the important thing are the ranks at the top left, right? Can you guess which one is an initiate rank?
The one with
Mm.
nothing on it?
Negative. We don't
Oh.
use the one with nothing on it. We use the one with a single chevron. If you took a look through the SOPs, you would know that.
I did.
I'm gonna
I
assume you just.
forgot.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, and I'm gonna pretend you read the SOPs and you just forgot
I
this
actually
very
did.
exact
I
thing.
actually did.
Okay,
Me
good.
too.
Okay, good. I recommend going through them in the meantime because they're very simple and very short compared to any other government agency. So please read them because it's gonna make your and our life a lot easier. But in the meantime, yes, it's the shirt with a single chevron, this one stripe. So you can choose any style you want: long sleeve, short sleeve, tie, no tie. It's all up to you. Go ahead and grab one. Once you buy it, it actually says initiate rank
Bam.
on it. Mm-hmm. Yep, obviously there are scrubs. Now when it comes to pants, you have three choices. Not the skirt, you don't get to wear the skirt. You have the two of the first options for Sam's pants. The first option is dress pants. These are like, fancy, nice with a stripe on the side. Second one are like cargo pants. You have slightly more room. And then if you scroll to the very bottom, to TACMED gear, there are TACMED pants. You are also allowed to wear those. These give you an amazing ass. You have a gun. You have the most So basically, everyone wears those because
I want
everybody.
a fucking
everybody
sexy
wants-
ass.
Yeah, everybody always wears those. Nobody wears the different ones because like these are way too cool for other ones to be worn.
Nice.
But once you're here, you are more than happy to grab all of them and see how they look. Like make a look that you're happy with. You can experiment here since it's obviously every single purchase you make through here goes through the Sam's fund and we can all monitor it. So like if you ever like actually buy something redundant or try to steal from us, we're gonna notice very easily. So good luck trying to
Can I
get
grab
away
some
with
different ones
corruption.
just to see what they look like?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like you
Perfect.
can get to play here with it. Oh yeah, the detail about those is the TACMED pants come with shoes. If you noticed, they automatically replace your shoes as well. The other pants, the Sam's pants, they don't come with shoes, so you'd have to
See.
go ahead and buy the separate shoes as well.
Wow, these are very boxy.
Yeah, these are actually my old ones, and then the dress ones, obviously.
Those are really fancy.
Fancy schmancy.
Perfect.
All right, so these are the pants. Let's go ahead and go back up. You have belts. They are not required, especially since you do have the TACMED pants. These already have a lot of equipment on them, so most people don't actually wear the belts with TACMED pants. Spoiler alert, because they make your waistline very, very nice, especially once you wear the TACMED top as well. But that's not for you. Can you guess why the TACMED shirt is not for you to wear? Take a look at it and guess why you cannot wear it. Because it doesn't come with a rank. It's just a
I
blank shirt. So they are reserved for operators and above. So we know that we don't have actual trainees, being quote unquote undercover, right? Because we cannot tell what rank you are if you're wearing the TACMED shirt. A lot of people are because they are cool. You can go ahead and put them on, see what's in store for you in the future. With the TACMED pants, as I said, they make your waist look really nice when you don't wear a belt or anything. But yeah, these don't have a rank, so that's why initiates cannot wear them. So, we don't have initiates running around and us thinking that they're, somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm. If you take a look, there's also a holster, there's stethoscope and radio. All of that is, if you want, none of it is required, obviously. You can absolutely wear a stethoscope. It's not just for doctors. Now, the GPS watch is obviously required. And if you have never worn a GPS watch before, go ahead and put it on.
I have.
All right, both of you, beautiful. Now go ahead and press F3 and go into settings. You will scroll down actually and find an option that says HUD GPS watch shows map. You have to go ahead and enable that. And with that, you will be able to see the map in your bottom left or whatever corner you have the map in at all times, which will also include blips of people, on duty, etc. Speaking of which, you are hired. Go ahead and clock on duty. You can do that by either clicking on this pad or just typing duty in your text box. You can do duty. We don't require you to use this. Whatever. Obviously, you have to use duty if you're outside of the hospital because I don't know, you crashed or there was a server restart or something, right? But
Gotcha.
you don't have to worry about using it. It's fine to just use duty whenever you want to go on duty. Just don't actually leave the hospital while being on duty if you're not on duty, right? Because that's when you make money, right? So if we catch you not working while on duty, that's obviously the only issue that could be from that. But from like OC standpoint, there's no requirement to use this thing. You're more than fine to walk in through the front door, go on duty, and go straight to work. You don't have to come in and pretend you clock in on the sorry, you write your name on the little notepad. That's fine. We're not that strict over here. Hold on, I'm getting okay. Sorry, I'm getting some random DMs. Or people are distracting me. All right, back to the closet. Let's go ahead and look at that bottom. Also, there's duffel bag if you want to wear it. Then put some stuff away to keep your inventory from being cluttered. But let's take a look at the bottom. TACMED gear. Things to note here. Obviously, you cannot wear the shirt unless you're a full operator and above. You can wear the pants, which probably both of you will. There's the helmet and the balaclava or the gaiter. You get both of those. Well, you get a helmet and whatever face covering you want. Most people go with the gaiter because the balaclava looks silly in comparison. But the thing is, you don't wear them unless you're strictly instructed to, right? These are for like extreme situations, shootouts, etc. When we're quote unquote being extremely tactical.
Oh my god.
Yeah, same thing as it's the same thing about rank, right? Initiates are forced to wear the hat at all times, so whenever you put on the helmet, it makes it harder to tell that you're initiate.
Yeah.
So you can have it, the helmet and the gaiter, but you only put it on when you're initiate, when you're instructed to. Yep. So
Time to take a look at how this looks. Oh god.
the headset, that's for later. It's and obviously the vest. Both of you get a vest. Go ahead and grab that and put it on.
Nice.
Now the thing about the vest, obviously they break when they get shot down. It's like an extension of your health bar, right? It goes down before your normal health goes down, unless you blow up or you get shot in the head, obviously. But the thing about them is they can break, and then they no longer, provide protection, and it's just cosmetic. And or before that,
Jesse
when
looks
they're slightly
weird with
broken,
her head
you
tied
come
up.
right here and get it repaired. You don't actually buy new ones. You have it repaired, and it's only costs a fraction of the price, right? Instead of buying a new one, right? If we ever catch you buying a second vest without, I don't know, getting robbed of your last one, obviously that's, an instant red flag, and you might actually be fired on the spot, because that's like a big no-no, right? You always repair your equipment, you don't buy new equipment, and that's, Obviously, if you do not know that you can repair your vest, you must have been asleep through your re-education at that point. We might not want you working because, you're not paying any attention. But that's the first thing. Vest is not the only thing that you can repair. Actually, I'll just go ahead and do this. Yeah, see? your vest went down. You can go ahead and ask Cynthia to repair it. And before you have to take the vest off and on, now it automatically refills. So that's nice.
I
Nice.
Yeah,
get
like you had to-
snitched on.
Yeah, like you had to
Yeah.
update it. All right. Now let's head to supplies. There's gonna be a lot of things from here that you get, but we're gonna start with two things. Are both of you on duty?
Yes.
We.
Yes, you are. Good. All right. Let's take a look at the supplies. I want you to grab the radio and MDT first.
Mm,
AUM.
got it.
Yep. Uh-huh. And I want you to click on your radio and take a look at the options you get for it. You'll notice something that you don't get an option for other items, something special. Not actually use it, just right-click on it.
A cereal.
Yeah, you
yeah,
get
the
the copy
serial number.
serial. Guns and radios have serial numbers. No other equipment has, right? Everything has the person who bought it on it written, but only guns and radios have actual serial numbers. So that is going to be something you're going to be putting in your MDT. We're gonna teach you how to do that once we actually get to the MDT. But go ahead and press your F7 if you have default keybinds. That should bring up your MDT. Let's just see if it
Great.
works.
Okay, let's take a
yeah.
look at my keyboard.
Oh, no. You don't actually have to use it. You can either click on it in your inventory, you can put it on your hotbar and use it that,
I
or you
can
can
do
literally just
MDT.
type
Okay,
MDT. Yep,
thank God.
yep, and that's how you use it. So you have many ways. You don't have to use the keybind, but obviously you can take a look. It's in there. You can set it to whatever you want, so you can bring it up. I always just have my MDT in slot 4, so I never use a keybind because of that. Yeah, my F7 I have with this. Don't ask. Or do. All right. So those are the first two things. Let's again.
Wait a
I'm
sec.
gonna.
I was about to ask, why am I an EMT?
It's fine. Both ranks give you the access. Same thing. I just didn't set it as the it's just the dev server. It's just to give you access to actually buy stuff, etc. All right. So let's head back into the supplies because we're not done. We're gonna go through a lot more. Next thing up is you're gonna get a flashlight and a knife. Flashlight is self-explanatory, right? It's a flashlight. It can be used if it's dark. It can be used for RP. The knife. Can we guess why all of us have knives?
Cutting someone out of
yeah,
a sticky
exactly.
situation.
Zip ties, precisely.
Oh.
Police doesn't use zip ties, so whenever we have, when a person is actually handcuffed or zip tied and they get down, they don't have a way to call EMS, and they have to wait 20 minutes, and then they respawn at the hospital, which is horrible. I fucking hate it. I've been stuck in that situation before, and it sucks because basically stops you from being able to get any RP, and it just forces you to respawn in the hospital, which sucks. But anyway. Yeah, whenever you see anyone with zip ties on, your first immediate thought is to pull out your knife and actually free them from the zip ties, because police would never use them. Therefore, we have no reason to keep anyone in zip ties. We don't obviously zip tie people ourselves. So that's why you have knives. As soon as you see somebody either get brought into the hospital or in the wild when in zip ties, you don't have to think twice about it. Cut them loose immediately, right?
Cool.
Because
police?
police.
Do you put the knife on your hand and then just click on the person?
Yes. Once you have the knife in your hand, you get the option to cut zip ties if
Nice.
there are in zip ties once you
Cool.
click on them. If zip ties looks the same as handcuffs. So if you have the knife out and you cannot cut the zip ties, that means they're handcuffed, and you gotta call PD
Gotcha.
to actually come with keys and free them.
Perfect.
All right. Next up, fire extinguisher. They are very light these days, so we went from only one person per team carrying a fire extinguisher to everyone carrying a fire extinguisher. Because things get set on fire, or EMS things explode. It's useful to have a fire extinguisher on the ready. And fire extinguisher works the same as your vest. It goes down until it's empty, and then you can bring it here to refuel at any time. And obviously, we don't want to see more than a single purchase, unless you have an excuse like getting robbed, right? But yeah, you are allowed to have a fire extinguisher. Repair kits, you will never buy them. Never, ever, ever. There's never an excuse to not just go to a mechanic or call a mechanic or get something, figured out and actually RP instead of just getting a skip, right? And using a repair kit.
It's a
So
lot of
these are
stuff,
things you would
yeah.
never use. Same with prepaid fuel cards. You make enough money. The fuel is extremely inexpensive, so you will never need to use funds to, because it's literally $20 and you get a full tank that'll get you through a week of driving in an ambulance because their tanks are so huge. So yeah, you don't use prepaid fuel cards, you don't use traffic cones, you don't buy
Ew.
wheelchairs unless you have a situation where somebody needs a wheelchair. That's mostly for doctors. I'll explain it later. And obviously all the other parts, none as well. That's mostly for PD because they don't like going to mechanics, so they want to do everything themselves, I guess.
I
Next
see.
up, you're gonna go ahead and grab a firearm and 60 ammo. Ooh, and actually the tactical flashlight that's right underneath as well. If you don't know how to put an attachment on the gun, you literally just grab the flashlight and you shove it onto the gun in your inventory, and that's how you put it on. And our guns, yep, and our guns are actually toy guns. If you take a look, it has an orange tip.
Oh yeah.
So we
Cynthia's not
actually have
happy.
medical toy guns.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Do I have ammo for this thing? I do.
Oh jeez.
Anyway.
Well, that's not a fake one.
No, it is not. All right. As I said, we're gonna go through it, but the most important thing about the gun and the radio, serials in MDT, or once we go into the MDT, we're gonna teach you how to do that. All right. Below. Oh yeah, and if you don't know, it's E to turn on the flashlight. Obviously, everyone knows E stands for
Oh.
flashlight.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do I
definitely.
just use the ammo to put it in the gun?
No, just pull out your gun and press R
R. Yeah.
to reload,
Okay.
or kick somebody, I guess, if you don't have a gun out.
Cool. E for
okay,
flashlight.
Yep, there you go. And
haven't done that in-
ammo is obviously singular bullets, so it uses the same one as the regular one. So if you ever feel like you don't get enough bullets per SOPs, right, and you want to have more to be a bit more loose with your aiming and don't you're bad at shot, just go to ammunition and buy yourself just some 9mm yourself.
Gotcha.
Instead of getting it from here. As I said, it all works the same. Now, below the tactical flashlight, we have actual pharmacy stuff. You will never have to worry about any of the drugs. The only thing you care about is medical kit and bandage. And if somebody has read the SOPs, they will tell me how many of each are you allowed to carry at a time.
One of each.
Wow, crazy. Can you guess why?
Because we're not supposed to use them?
We're not supposed to use them, A, and B, we're not supposed to be walking piñatas for criminals to, get a gang war won just because they robbed one TACMED and they got 5-10 medkits off of them, and they get to pack, 10 of their bodies whenever they go down, because, everybody can use the medkit if it's in their inventory to revive somebody who's dead. So that's basically it. We're still piñatas. We are still very much piñatas in the sense where we carry guns. We no longer carry class 3s. We're gonna go back eventually probably to carrying class 3s once the city gets more violent and class 3s are more prominent. But obviously we do carry guns. We carry vests. We carry uniforms that are fucking cool, and we carry medical supplies that can help criminals a lot. So we lowered all our value as much as possible, but it's still pretty goddamn high. We're like on the same level as PD. The only people who are less valuable than us are Rangers, but TACMED and PD are on the same level, right? Because we have similar equipment, we have vests, we have medical kits, which sadly most of PD carries as well because they don't like RPing. They like exploding in a car because of their bad driving and treating it as a stub toe, or they like getting shot in the face and
I'm
I guess taking
loving
everything
this
to the vest.
ass.
So yeah, one medical kit and one bandage. Obviously in this test server we're gonna I got more on hand. I don't think we're gonna use them that much because of how little people we have. And the very last thing, cleaning kit. That is something you can go ahead and get yourself as well. If there's obviously not one in storage, as you can probably guess, cleaning kits, go down whenever you use them. Actually, go ahead and grab them. And can you guess what cleaning kits are useful for? Other than cars, obviously. We don't use them for cars.
Well,
No.
it says no vehicle nearby, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, why
Wait,
don't
can you
you
clean
click on the
blood?
little meaty mess that you have underneath your feet after I shot
Oh
you all?
shit!
Yeah, we clean up the hospital because there's a lot of violence going on.
Oh my god.
So that's what we
that's
use the
actually
cleaning kits
sick.
for. Yep,
Can you
obviously
clean
you can
the
only,
mall and stuff?
uh,
Are you are we
physically
allowed
you
to?
can. You will no. You just go to a
Alrighty.
mechanic shop. You ask to buy cleaning kits from them. They're not government issued. That you pay with your own cash, and you can clean up whatever you want. Yes, this is an OC unlock, I guess, for you. That yes, you can use cleaning kits to clean up these chunks. You cannot clean up obviously like blood pools, etc., because that's all client side. But these chunks are, actual evidence. PD can collect DNA from it and samples and that. So yeah, these are like a prop that will remain there until it is cleaned.
So criminals
as
could
well.
technically get rid of evidence like that.
Yeah, that's the exactly same way as you pick up your casings. That's how you get rid of evidence, You clean up the blood and there's no more evidence.
This is why me being a
Yeah.
Civ that knows nothing about guns, this is really interesting. I just picked a casing
Yeah.
and you can plant
Yeah, you
it. You can wipe
you
it
can
clean.
plant it, you can put it back
place
down,
a
you can wipe it so-
fingerprint.
Yep.
Oh
How the
shit!
Because
fuck
all
do
of the
I pick it up?
casings come. You gotta click on it. It's just tiny, so it's difficult. But you gotta
Oh
click
my
on it. The
gosh.
same way you click on any furniture. You can collect it and you can also put it down. Usually we have a janitor here who got turned into a robot recently. But his thing was after a shootout, he would collect all of the casings and he would make macaroni art out of it. He's very adorable.
Oh my gosh, that's
So if-
amazing.
Yep. That's exactly
go.
how people get rid of evidence.
Oh,
Obviously, if there's an actual shootout and you have to shoot someone, don't just run in and clean it up. If PD wants to collect evidence, let them handle
Yeah.
it, right? But if PD leaves a
It's
mess
so
at the
cool,
hospital
I
and it's
had
ours
no
to clean,
idea.
then yeah, sure, you can go ahead and play with it.
Nice.
All right, so that's that. But go ahead and take a look at your cleaning kits in your inventory. You're gonna have 75% left. You're gonna
Yeah.
have 50%
I-
left, I think.
oh my god.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
just add elbow grease. I don't want to add elbow grease.
Anyway, these work almost the same as fire extinguisher and vest. You get to repair them or refill them through Cynthia for a fraction of the price. But you can only use them 3 times. If you use them 4 times, they actually break. Because these items disappear if they run out.
Yeah.
So unlike the fire extinguisher and the vest, where you don't have to worry about it, it dipping from your inventory when it runs out, cleaning kits actually do if you don't pay attention. So don't clean too many things without refilling them, or you're gonna have to buy another one, and you're gonna have to explain why you're spending unnecessary funds, and you're gonna get in trouble. So
Basically, don't turn into a janitor. Okay.
yeah,
I love cleaning stuff.
Yeah, cleaning kits have 4 uses. 4th breaks it, so don't use it more than 3 times at a time before refilling it again, because that'll force you to, have to buy a new one, and we're gonna notice it like, oh, what the hell is going on? But that's basically
Like,
all
the
of your
casings
equipment.
is sick.
You're all fully kitted out and stuff. So we are going to move on to actually teaching you about some of the stuff you have on you. And actually, before we go there, anybody here loves cock? You're gonna love cock. Chain of command.
I was about to say I'm
COC.
gay.
Oh. I thought it was a clothing store.
Doesn't matter. Everybody here loves and respects cock. COC. Chain of command. Does anybody here know what a chain of command is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the pyramid of who's the boss and who.
All right, but what do you do with the pyramid? Because
Well, you don't directly go to the overseer.
Mhm.
Go to the rank above you. No.
I'm squinting right now because I know all of you will do that. Everybody always goes directly to the person that's highest because they always fucking do that. Nobody ever respects cock. We're too gay in this department. Nobody respects it. It's fine. It's fine. Yes, the basic thing is, hey, don't go to the big boss when you have a direct superior, right? We're not that extremely strict about it, but it's that thing. You're not gonna have an excuse to go to the overseer too many times because Nicotine plays a lot more characters these days than just maining Walkatoff, so we don't have we still have people as soon as they see her. Overseer! Sorry, I should say Mom, because it's mostly Brittany, and that's besides the point. I love them. It's all in character drama. They know they're doing bad things, but anyway, yeah. Basically, just if you're an initiate or an operator, just go to a specialist or a vanguard, right? If they're not available, just go to the undersea. It's fine. We're like a big fucking family. You're usually riding in teams, so you're not going to a single person specifically. You're just gonna throw the question out there, and whoever knows his answers. And the other thing about the cock is you have to respect the answer you're given, because if you come to me asking about something like, I don't know, could you take off your initiate hat before you get promoted because you want your hair to be pretty, and I tell you no, fuck off, and I catch you going to Callum and asking the exact same question, you're getting fired on the spot.
Yeah.
Because there's no going to dad when mom says no, understood?
Oh.
You get an answer,
yes,
you
sir.
respect it.
What?
Good. Very good.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Understood.
so you have now been taught in the ways of the cock. Congratulations. We're
Wow.
gonna go to
I don't like
actual
that.
mechanics now. Wow, everybody click U on your
Wow.
keyboard.
Oh.
That's huh. Alright. That's problematic. Was that your U? Okay, go ahead and click it again. And enjoy going through fucking keybinds, because guess what? There's a keybind for dispatch. What it does for me, and I'm assuming for you, is it both shows the dispatch window and your mouse, so you can actually move it. Surprise, surprise. They finally fixed it, and it stays where you move it. So you move dispatch wherever you want it to be, and it's gonna stay there. Before, it used to reset on every restart, and it was a pain in the ass. But now you just move it wherever you want it to be.
That's cool.
Right? Yep, and by default, you go through dispatch using your arrow keys. You press up to show it and hide it. Don't worry, as long as you're on duty, they're always gonna show up when a new call comes in. It's not gonna clog your screen if there's nothing new coming in, right? So as long as you're on duty, you're always gonna see the call. It just changes whether you always see it or only see it, popping up and then it disappears if you don't do anything with it. Then obviously you have left and right.
I have a question. Why does it say? For some reason, it says for last and respond both L. But left and right does work, and
that's probably because there's something with your keybinds.
typical. It's the typical
Yeah.
German keyboard type here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, as long as it works, that's
Yeah,
that's good
I
enough.
guess.
Yep. And then the respond button. Go ahead and click down. Oh, it does nothing. You have to actually hold it to respond. So I don't accidentally
Oh.
respond to calls. Yeah.
And you can cancel.
Anybody? Yep. Can anybody guess what WATB stands for?
I was wondering that.
Whereas Buzzy.
It actually stands
WATB.
for what appears to be.
Oh.
I've only learned that recently because that's a PD. That used to be a PD only dispatch call, right? Only PD used to get
I see.
gun and weapon threats before. But now we get them as well, so we are a little bit more prepared. We know when we're rolling onto the scene if somebody was either seen with brandishing a machete or there were some shots fired, so we're more prepared when rolling onto the scene because we are attackmen. We don't give a fuck about anything. We're ready for anything, so it helps us be prepared for whatever type of scene we're arriving for. But yeah, it actually stands for what appears to be, because a lot of people were like, yeah, what the fuck is a wait? Yeah, anyway. All right, so now example. Guess what's gonna happen in 60 seconds?
60. Oh, they'll be
Mhm.
able to call for
Yeah.
help.
Yep, there's gonna be a
45
call
seconds
coming in through dispatch. That's going to be an incapacitated person call. That is a call that anybody who gets down and is not zip tied can make, and that obviously lets us OC know that hey, person has died, they need help, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna all see that on dispatch very shortly.
My supervisor murdered me.
Well, you should have seen the mess I made here last time I was running re-education. So much blood. So much more fun when
Alrighty, we
there's
got
20
5
people to
seconds.
mow down.
Don't worry, I'll clean the blood.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
So, there you go. Incapacitated person. A few seconds ago, a student reported an incapacitated injured person. The caller location is blah, 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 right?
Mhm.
And it also shows up on your map as a little purple heart.
Oh, yeah.
And
Don't tell.
now, can you guess what's going to happen if you respond to it? Many
They'll-
things will actually happen. Go ahead and try guessing any of them.
I'll get a message.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. The person who's currently down, their message will change from you can call for help or, help has been contacted to the help is on the way. As soon as you respond, they will be notified that someone is coming. There's another thing that will change as well. When you are down and you call for help and nobody responds, eventually the timer goes down to 3 minutes. So you don't have to, sit in the middle of nowhere.
I've
if you don't
noticed
get a
that. It's
chance to
so
RP.
good.
Yep.
It's actually really nice.
But as soon as you respond, that timer changes to 20 minutes to give, EMS time to actually arrive on scene, right? Because who knows, maybe there's, I don't know, nobody who knows how to fly. They gotta drive an ambulance all the way up to Toledo to rescue you after you fell off a mountain like an idiot. So that's very crucial because that stops people from being able to get the help if there's nobody coming. Another thing that happens, it automatically marks it on your GPS. That's just the small thing, right? So you don't actually have to look for it on the map. You can just respond and just follow the GPS while the passenger gives you like an actual location, so you aren't just blindly following GPS.
Are we supposed to
but-
ignore the guns and stuff? Because I remember on the other server that I played on, when
No.
we were doctors, we would just ignore the kind of 911s that would come in about guns and stuff.
If you're talking about OC, pretend they don't exist. No, there's
Okay,
no
cool.
such thing here.
Perfect.
We see them, which means we can see them. Why would we? If we were not supposed to see them, we would not see them, right?
Sounds good. Yep.
It was a deliberate choice to let us see them so that we can actually prepare. At first, people were complaining that it's too much, that it gets overwhelming, but it actually, makes our RP better because we can roll into the scenes, prepared and actually,
Yeah.
ready to either treat it as a threatening situation or know exactly what we're looking for, etc., etc. So yes, everything you see on dispatch, you treat it, OC as you can see it because obviously you can see it. Okay. When you unrespond from calls, also, the timer is supposed to go down. There are rare instances that are either that we are unable to locate if it's a bug or if it's just people from other department who don't know how it's working, because believe it or not, SASP does not teach it at all how this one works. So we have cops just clicking to respond on an injured call to see where it is, then unclicking on GPS and moving on with their day, while a person is just stuck in the middle of nowhere, unable to get responded, unable to teleport back to the hospital because police doesn't know how things work. But that's besides the point. Only respond to things if you're gonna go there, and if you're unable to attend or you arrived on scene and you cannot find the person, you're also gonna unrespond, right? Because you never know if they've got bugged, they're invisible, they're under the ground, whatever the fuck, right? They might be in the sewers, fuck if you know, right? Might be stuck in the sky. So anytime you show up on the scene, and you cannot find the patient, as soon as you call out that you cannot find the patient, you gotta remember to unrespond, because as soon as that number goes back to 0, that person will be able to, get local help, quote unquote, and get teleported back to the hospital instead of just being stuck there,
So the timer will go down automatically as soon as you cancel on
Yes.
it. Nice.
Yes. As soon as there's 0 person responding to the call, the timer goes down, which in most cases will, move it back to 0, because it always goes down, right? So if it's been 5 minutes and you cannot find them, and you unrespond, they immediately get a choice to respawn in the hospital. Thankfully, there's not as
Thanks,
many
Michael.
accidental respawns these days, because it used to be just F2, the same button for your pockets, your inventory. I could not count how many people we were transporting in an ambulance, and we yell at them to show us their ID, and their first instinct is to, open their inventory and pull it out, but they're dead, so they get teleported to pillbox.
I see.
So now they actually have to hold F2 to get teleported, or whatever the keybind is. So you don't have to worry about people getting pulled away from you. The only time people get teleported to hospital that are already in your care is if they deliberately do it. There's no more room for error. So you don't have to worry about, people being yanked out of your ambulance because you haven't responded to the call. They would have to deliberately make the choice to do that. So that is a first type of call that you're going to get. There's also injured person call that shows up on the map as a little red shield. It means that a local NPC has seen a player get hurt, but they're not dead yet. Or they might be dead, but as you notice, it takes 60 seconds to make a call that someone is dead, right? It's for RP reasons, right? If somebody has killed you, it would be kind of powerful if you could call being down in an instant, because I don't know, maybe it's a hostage situation, right? And you might use that 1 minute to get an upper hand on the police and just escape, something like that. So when somebody is incapacitated, it takes 60 seconds. When somebody is injured, we immediately get the call, and how we treat them in character is, if we have the time and are not responding to somebody actually being dead, we immediately go there as well, because we're TACMET and we don't need to wait for somebody to die or somebody to wait for those 60 seconds for us to arrive. We immediately go if we get any inkling that somebody got hurt, even if it's only weapon calls as well, right? You see somebody, you see calls of just weapons being used and nobody getting injured. As TACMED, we will still expect you to go there and at least investigate, just hang around in the area and see if you can find injured people, right? You're not here to hang out at the hospital as TACMED. That's only doctor's job. You will not sit at the hospital at all. You will come here, do paperwork if necessary, and at most you will sit at the garage waiting to find people to group up with to go together out. There will be no hanging out at the hospital. You always are out in the field, and there's always calls of people getting injured, so you always have something to do, right? You never have to feel like you're just driving in circles in the middle of town not doing anything. So that's the thing. Now, there's also other calls that will come in. That means that a person might be in trouble. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're in trouble, but it should mean 13 alphas and 13 bravos. Can you guess what that is?
I know what that is.
No, what is that?
Is that like from the cops?
Yeah. 13 Alpha is a downed officer that is included with violent thingies, and a 13B is when, for example, they crash their car and haven't worn a seatbelt and fly out like a little idiot. Yeah!
13 Alpha is a panic button for any government employee that has a radio. SAM's employees can use them, cops, rangers. I'm unsure if DOJ and DAs have radios. I don't know if they can use 13 Alphas and Bravos. I've never seen them do it. But they can use the radio, so I would assume they could.
Notes,
but basically, it's a panic button that goes through dispatch over radio to every single employee in the state, right? All of Rangers, PD, BCSO, and TACMED get that call. And the difference between Alpha and Bravo is, like you said, 13 Alpha is I'm fucked, 13 Bravo is I fucked up, right? If you drive over a motorcycle by accident because you weren't paying attention, you blow up, right? You call for a 13 Bravo, so there's a unit who will come scoop you up quickly and help you get back on your feet, right? If there's somebody coming at you and shoot you in the head, that's a 13 Alpha, right? it's pretty self-explanatory, right? If you trip, if you fall down a mountain, right, or something like that, that's a 13 Bravo, right? Because you had an accident or something. Yep.
How do you press them?
Oh, well, don't worry, we'll get there. It's very
Alright.
complicated. You have to have your radio on. You have to have the radio on, which none of you have because we haven't gone there. So go ahead and use your radios and click this button on the top to toggle it on in the middle. Once the screen turns green, you can go ahead and click on it, type 1 on your actual keyboard, not the radio keyboard, and press enter. That'll connect you to radio 1. That's our EMS. Sorry, too much playing civilians and other people. That's our SAMS and TACMED frequency. There's no such thing as EMS. Alright, so now put your radio down, and how you use the panic button is you literally just type 13A or 13B.
Huh? Doesn't. Oh, wait. Huh?
Yeah, 13A, 13B. All together.
And that doesn't show up, right?
What do you mean it doesn't show up?
It doesn't show up. Like it isn't really a preset in the chat.
Yeah, it's not a preset. You gotta actually type it.
Okay.
Go ahead and try either. Oh wait, no, you didn't. Sorry, didn't see you. All right, so we have 13A and 13 Bravo. Those obviously don't have timers attached to them. It doesn't mean that someone is down. Sometimes people would do it while they're getting shot at, for example, if they don't have the time to radio it in, right? So you don't have to worry about unresponding to them because it's not an injured call, right? Only injured, not only incapacitated people call have that timer attached to them. Everything else doesn't matter how many people respond to them and if you unrespond or not.
Right.
All right. So you know how to call those. Now go ahead and press H on your keyboard. That should put your hands up if you have default keybinds.
Great.
I'm guessing.
Okay, let's figure this out. Okay, hold on. I can figure this out. Z.
Yeah, there.
Okay,
you go.
great.
There you go. Interesting.
Oh,
for me,
okay,
for
I'm
me,
a
C
no
is
clip.
looking back. All right, there you go. Now try doing the same while your hands are up.
Do what? Wait, huh? Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, 13
press
Alpha, 13 Bravo.
Yeah. Oh, it won't work. Yep, that makes sense. Fuck
Okay,
yourself for trying.
Yep. You physically.
What about 13?
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
Same. It's the same button.
Farmhouse! Thank you so much for the raid.
Basically, that works as your radio. If your radio
Hey,
is
thank you so much
off,
for the raid.
if somebody takes the radio
Hey,
off of you,
chat.
if your hands are up, if you're holding a gun, you cannot.
Hope you had a good
actually,
stream, Farm.
Sorry, if you're aiming a
Thank
gun,
you.
well,
Hey,
obviously you cannot aim
Martina.
the gun and type at the same time.
Appreciate you.
If you're doing anything that makes your hands occupied or unable to actually do
you.
it,
Hey,
you're
Creed.
physically unable to do it. So you don't actually have to worry about,
We're learning
using
how to
it
be
when
an
quote
EMS.
unquote you're not
Hey, Captain Coffee.
allowed to do it. Like there are mechanics in the way to stop you when you are physically incapable of doing it, and the only thing you have to keep in mind is when actually you're valuing your life. Obviously there's a alarm attached to it, so that's why people usually only use it once they're down, because it actually alarms people that
Jesse's currently dough.
the whole state knows that something is happening. So it's a 13 Alpha. They're gonna
I
come and
appreciate the
guns
raid.
blazing. But yeah, you don't actually have to
I'm
worry about it. If
Rafi.
you're carrying
You
someone
know
on your
me.
shoulder, for
You guys
example,
know
you're not
me.
gonna be able to do that either. So there's no fear. Always use it whenever you feel like it's appropriate. And obviously, then the fact of not valuing your life comes in, right? You're not gonna 13 Alpha in a gangster's face who has a gun to your face, right? That's obviously. I would hope that both of you would already know
Yes.
that. We're just going about mechanically
No.
speaking.
So yeah, chat,
it'll
this is
stop you when
very
you are not
OSC,
physically able
as
to
it
do
says
it,
on the
so you don't
top
have to
left
worry about it,
corner.
right?
So that's why there's a lot of talks
I guess
about,
if you have your hands up and you try to press the panic button, you're
Mechanics
gonna be very
and
nicely reminded that you're an idiot. and you
pressing
should
like
put your
left
hands
and
down
right
if you
on the
wanna use that, or
keyboard and stuff like
maybe
that.
rethink if you're in
So
a situation where you can use that. But that's basically it. Let's take a look. We went through dispatch very well, so I guess we'll move on to the radio. Nice transition. Let's go ahead and pull that back out. And let's take a look. Don't ask me what's the keybind for radio. There's a default keybind. I don't know it.
I can't remember which one I
just
used.
put it on my hotbar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just put it on my hotbar. So obviously you know how to turn the radio, you know how to put a channel in. To replace it, obviously you just click on the screen again and retype the number.
Yeah, so they're like on a private
you
server.
have the set preset button.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that with a keybind for presets. You obviously get 2 presets. So you have keybinds in your 5M for all of the radio sticks that aren't actually set by default. So if you want to have like ability to quickly change between 2 radio channels, you can set them as presets. I recommend having like probably the only useful preset for you is probably gonna be 1. And then when you go to a different radio channels, because now we have 3 radio channels, we have 9 for BCSO, 5 for PD, and 11 for Rangers. You either open up your radio and type it, or you can actually set a keybind in your 5M settings to go up or down a channel. So
But we don't have to remember those numbers, right?
You will remember
read them
and
somewhere.
Yes, you can read them
Okay.
somewhere. They're in the SOPs, and I think in your dashboard as well. You might have removed them because they were being very obvious, and we might move them to Kanban board. But it's okay. You don't trust me. You're gonna remember them after 1 or 2 shifts, and you can always just ask. It's very simple. Our channel is channel 1. That is the only one that matters, right?
Yeah.
If anybody ever asks you to go to a PD channel and you don't know which one is the PD channel, guess what you're gonna do?
Ask.
You're just gonna ask which one is PD, and they're gonna tell you channel 5.
Okay.
And there you go. It's that
Wow.
simple. It's that simple. Just ask if you don't know something. You're training. It's the whole point.
Well,
of
we're gonna get
asking.
shouted at. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
well, maybe sometimes. No, we won't. Probably not. I don't play as much, so you don't get shouted at as much these days. Obviously, you have volume buttons on your radio. You have mute button that stops the voice from coming through your radio, but you hear the clicks. I think don't use that. Just lower
Yeah.
the volume, like minimum, or turn the radio off, because when your radio is off, we can actually tell that your radio is off because your blip disappears. Whereas when you mute, we can shout at you at radio, and you're never gonna hear that. So don't use mute. Ring doesn't work either. It used to be like the 13 alpha ring, but for everyone on the same frequency, so you could just make everybody suddenly have a heart attack, so they disabled it. That's basically the radio.
It's actually
Can
been very fun,
anybody
very interesting.
know what your
It's a
keybind
lot.
is for talking on the radio?
Well, I got
have a
1%
different-
on the mouse.
Yeah, go ahead
I
and,
got it on my mouse. Too.
yeah, go ahead and
Hello?
hold it. Mm-hmm.
Yabba dabba doo.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Wrong thing. There we go. All right. So you know how to talk on the radio. That's beautiful. For actually talking on the radio, it's very simple. We use the same. Way of speaking over the radio as any other department and any other server. Only thing we actually enforce it, unlike PD, etc.
I'm sorry.
It's, hey you, it's me. You
Don't
always
worry.
start.
Hey, you, it's me.
You always start your radio transmissions with who you want to reach, introducing yourself next, and then what you want to say, right? So in most cases, when you're just doing basic radio comms, like you're going off to a call, you're arriving on a call, right? Or anything else, you're gonna start by saying dispatch, right? That means you're talking to everybody on the radio because you're not speaking to anybody in particular, right? But for example, if you wanted to request PD assistance, or PD asked you to hop onto the radio to have a chat, right? What do you think you would say once you arrived on the channel and wants to get PD assistance?
TACMed to PD?
No,
No.
silly.
PD
Hey,
from
you. It's
TACMed?
me, PD from TACMed.
PD from
Very much
TACMed.
so.
Ah,
PD.
okay.
Hey, PD. Hey, PD.
I
This is
always
TACMed.
mix them up.
It's okay. Don't worry. The issue is all of the other departments mix them up all the time,
It's
and
a
they're
lot.
not being
It's a
strict
lot
about
to
it.
learn.
Trust me. I think this is the only department I've ever seen on any RP server that actually teaches people how to do it properly. So you're gonna eventually learn to do the correct way. Don't worry about it. But yes, it's always hey you, it's me, right? if you're calling someone by the call sign, for example, my call sign is 131. If you wanted to speak to me directly because I was your direct superior and you wanted to ask a question, or you wanted to ask where I am, for example, you would go, you would click on your radio and you would say 131 from 004 direct, right? 131, which is my call sign, from your call sign, direct. That's how you get someone's attention. It's very simple. You just put whoever you want to speak to first, right? It's dispatch for basic calls. It's call sign if you want to speak to someone directly, and then obviously name of the department if you want to speak to a department, right? If you go to a PD or BCSO, hey, BCSO from TACMA, right?
Yeah,
Et
it is a
cetera, et cetera.
lot of information.
When it actually comes to call signs, you will be able to see everyone's call sign
F7.
in your MDT, which we'll get to later once we're done with the radio. So you don't, if you want to contact someone directly and you don't want to, be unprofessional and call them by their name, you always on duty are able to check anyone's call sign who's currently on duty. So you don't have to worry about that.
You technically changed the call sign.
Yes.
On
If
the-
you notice, mine is set up. Yours are not. Don't worry, we'll teach you how to do that in a second.
Okay.
I'm having to
about the
focus
radio,
so
do I
much,
want
so I'm
to
sorry I'm not
tell you
talking a
anything more?
lot.
Obviously, we're not going to go through the codes and stuff. You got them all in the SOPs, and you're going to slowly learn them as you go on duty. You're probably going to be,
duty.
as initiator, depending on how good you are with comms, I'm assuming both of you are new to a government job.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Have you used 10 codes in the past?
Yeah.
Well, then you're gonna have, I guess, an easier time remembering them. So nobody's gonna expect you to know them at all until you are, until you show to know them, right? So you are always able to just ride in the back and listen to other people using the 10 codes to learn how we say things, right? We don't put ing behind a 10 code that says doing something, right? We don't say we're 76ing to a location. We just say we're 76 because 76 means we are going to the location, right? Yeah, there are little things like that. We don't say, we're back 10-8. We just say we are 10-8 because 10-8 means back in service, right? If you're back from a break, for example. There's going to be a lot of little nuanced things and efficiency when it comes to efficiency and how you speak that you're gonna learn over the days. But the basic knowledge of what the 10 codes means, don't worry, that's not required. You're gonna slowly learn it as you actually use them, right? You're gonna go out there on the call. We're gonna ask you how would you call it out, right? You're gonna tell it to us before going on the radio, and if you do good, we're gonna let you know to go on radio and make it official, etc., etc. Don't worry, you'll learn very quickly. We don't use a lot of 10 codes, and we don't use a lot of 10 codes, but those we use a lot. So it's very easy to learn them because you're gonna go through all of the 10 codes we actually use through one shift within an hour, easy. So it's very easy to remember them all because, like I said, we use a lot of 10 codes, but we don't have a lot of them. So it's, as I said, extremely easy to remember them all. Thankfully, we don't have as many as the PD does or something like that. All right, so that's the radio. Again, I don't want either of you to be scared. It's gonna be very easy learning through stuff. Also, if you notice, we don't when it comes to talking about cock, there's literally nothing about it other than everything Vanguard is above his command, so these people have a little bit more responsibility, but there's nothing quote unquote locked rank. There's no certs or anything like that. Obviously initiates don't fly a helicopter or take chariot out on their own volition. They can always ask if they're allowed to, and people will allow them to do it, right? But as soon as you're operator, which is just the basic employee, you get to do everything you could ever want in this department. So.
And you always have to go out with someone else, isn't it?
Yes, unless it's literally just you on duty,
Gotcha.
which will not happen, hopefully. As I said, unless you're at a very awkward Australian time, we have a lot of staff on duty, so you won't have to worry about that. The only thing sometimes that happens is just we have too many trainees at a time, so it's a bit difficult to make teams with not too many trainees in one ambulance to make sure that people in charge of the ambulance can like give enough attention to the trainee instead of just hurdling them like chicken. It's okay. We'll limit how many trainees go out in one ambulance. It's fine. But now we're gonna go ahead and pull up our MDTs. Actually, before we do our MDTs, F3 actually, we're gonna teach you this little trick because that will allow you to set your call sign. Let's go ahead and select Organization tab. And under SAMs, you'll click on the gears icon next to leave, don't leave. And then at the very top, you're going to have personal
If you
profile.
press
Go ahead and click
leave,
on that.
Wait.
I've been wondering that. Will you will it give
You'll
you a
get-
prompt?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, it'll give you a prompt and you'll have to type yes. So you better not
Yeah,
fucking
cool.
leave by mistake.
Under personal thingies?
Yes,
Or-
personal
okay.
profile.
Why am I a bear?
Everybody's a
change-
bear.
yeah.
It's a
Do I put
default photo.
my-
Yeah, you
Do I
can
put-
change a picture.
Yes. Yep. If
Do
you
I
take
just no? Do I put my call sign under notes or in my nickname?
both, actually.
Both.
Mhm.
Wow.
Do you put
Yeah.
the M on it?
Yes. Here you put the full call sign. If you noticed when I was doing the radio bit, I wasn't actually saying the M because that we're on our radio, right? We're all medics. We don't use the prefix M, right? We're just numbers. If we go on another radio and we request someone specifically and we're not talking department to department, then we use the M131, right? So they know it's a medic. But on our radio, we always just stick to just numbers, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to
Right.
go ahead and set your personal note and nickname as both capital M dash and 004 and 066, I think.
Oh, double six.
Yeah, 066. If you're unable to set one of them, just go ahead and save back and get back in, I think. If you delete too many characters at once, it might be an issue, so you might have to delete your last name and first name and put your call sign in.
Got it.
Do we have both
Bam.
call signs set up? And
Yeah.
obviously, obviously the logo. I will recommend actually putting something in here on the server so it's easier to find you in the list. Because the fucking organization list of employees is horrible. There's no way to search anybody. So it's just one giant list, right?
Yeah, it's
so
a
if
lot
we
of
ever want to
people.
give you a promotion, we're just gonna scroll forever, and God forbid we gotta suspend you and put you on LOA, and that means we have to click on you multiple times to move you down the list through through all the ranks. And if you don't have a picture assigned, it's gonna be very painful trying to look for your name. So I recommend putting a nice nice picture that makes your profile distinct on there. But that's besides the point.
All right.
I want you both to cycle duty for me now that you have done it. What I mean by cycle duty is you should just go off duty and back on duty. You should just type duty twice. That'll update your call sign. And now let's take a look back in the MDT. Let's pull that up.
Oh, I see you went on duty.
You fucked up. I told you to put the call sign in, but you put the call sign and name. If you take
Oh,
a look
damn
at
it.
mine, it's just call sign. So
You didn't
on the
say.
server, you're just gonna. Well, fine. I didn't specify that you should replace your name with call sign, but yes, that's how you're gonna do it. That's how your name looks like in government Discord. But on here, you put in both fields just your call sign, because obviously your name shows up above
On
that on the
the
list.
F3, isn't it? Yeah.
And
Damn.
you have to
Organization,
cycle every
personal.
time you do that. So 066 is still not updated, but that's fine.
There we go.
Beautiful, beautifully done. All right, so we got our MDTs and we're gonna go through all of the things. First up, we're gonna go through the most important thing you're gonna have to do as soon as you get on duty, other than getting a full list of tasks you're gonna go through. Afterwards, I'll send you a Discord DM with that, but go ahead and locate, actually, before we do that, plus icon at the very top, you can make extra tabs. You can have as many tabs open as you want. All of them are, saved. So you can open as many things as you want at the same time, right? You can have one tab for your templates. You can have one tab for active NL, so you know who's on duty with you, etc., etc. So Y'all have fun with that. God, I am
Oh.
so glad we weren't a thing before that became a thing, because we didn't have tabs at the start. Anyway, you can also go back and forth on your tab. I'm pretty sure it's like there's no limit to how far back you can go. So you can literally just go through everything. You can, for example, you're doing some paperwork, you click on a profile to see that profile, you can just click back to go back to the paperwork you were doing before. You don't have to worry about your progress being lost that way. So those are like mechanical parts of the MDT. Now, below that, well, next to that, you'll see those three tabs: home, patient database, and insurance database. I want you all to click on patients database and go to patients. We're all there?
Uh-huh.
Yep, you see a little search bar, and you actually are going to look up your character name you're currently playing right now. And that should show your profile.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yep, just give it a second, and it'll show
Hey,
up.
I'm
Go
not
ahead
dead
and
yet.
click on it. You both on your profiles?
Yeah.
Alright, as you can see on the left, you have all of the details we have. Those are medical profiles, not criminal profiles. We have access to different stuff on it than PD. We have access to people's phone numbers, unlike PD. By default, they don't. If you notice,
Oh,
there's
this
also
is how you get the emergency
a little red
contacts.
box for you saying you're not insured. If a person is insured, it's going to show up at what tier they are insured. Then at the very middle, there's a big ass nodes box. That's where you, as TACMED, are required to put the serial numbers of your equipment, which is, what is it again? 2 items.
It is the flashlight,
It's a pew pew.
the flashlight, and the pew pew.
And
You wanna say it?
The flashlight.
the very... Nope.
No?
The radio.
Nope.
The
Radio,
knife.
beautiful.
Oh, the radio,
Gun
sorry.
and radio. Yep. I
Gun
want
and
you to
radio.
all go ahead and put those in. Obviously, just, type in gun, colon, and then paste the actual license plate. And then on the top right, you have the save button. Go ahead and mash that. Anytime you're doing anything with the notes that isn't like actual paperwork, and it has a save button, you gotta remember to click it, otherwise it'll get lost as soon as you close it. And I'll be back in a second. Quick bathroom break. If you go ahead and need one, might as well take one. But wow. Actually,
Gun. That was the radio. Radio.
there we go. See you soon.
Perfect. Gun.
The fuck?
I just saw that. If you do EA, you can use any emote and place them on the world. I found this out like 2 days ago.
What is it? EA?
EA, and then just write whatever emote you want to use. Some of them don't work, but most of them do. That's how you can sit on top of trees and shit. I know. I had no idea this happened.
Wait. How do I place myself?
So if you do, like, for example, EA Spider-Man,
What the fuck?
and then you can move yourself around, you can rotate yourself. I'm gonna go Lou. I'll be right back.
Hello. Love this. I gotta write that down. You look actually pretty funny up there.
Well, you tried.
Oh,
Get down here. Hello.
that was pretty fun.
Beautiful. I see Caroline's equipment saved. Look at the other one. Same. Beautiful. Good. Good job. Thankfully, all of the paperwork you're going to be doing for your actual job, like the invoices, reports, and all of that, isn't like the notes. And you can actually, close your MDT and open it back up and it'll stay. So you don't have to
I
worry
did
about,
that,
saving it.
I had closed the MDT while getting my gun thing, and it saved the
Alright.
the rate.
All right. So there's all right. So there's three actually types of notes. You have actual notes under home that if you type and you put your MDT down and you put it back up, it's actually gonna refresh and remove unless you actually physically save it. So I always assume that the notes in the profile work the same way. So the way the notes in the profile work, you can put your MDT down, but if you close the tab, they get lost.
Okay.
It's just better to always spam that save button whenever you see it.
I like saving thing.
Mm-hmm. Hello, back. Beautiful work. I see both of your profiles correctly saved, so we can...
Are we okay to like zhuzh your
Actually,
profiles?
does anybody here has any questions? You can stop me at any moment and ask questions, obviously.
Are we allowed to
There's
like
no
I don't
such thing
think
as
I have any
disturbing the training
bold
here.
some words on
Oh,
your
alright,
profile
I
and
see.
stuff?
Yeah.
It's not good. Having questions is good.
I don't have any questions though.
Oh, okay, I see. Right, then let's go back and explain every single nook and cranny of this MDT. Let's go back to
Gosh.
home and dashboard. That's going to be your welcome screen every time you open up your MDT.
Mhm.
On the left is going to be the public board. This is where we have all of our, most important details, announcements, and some stuff, right? I think we used to have the radios here, but since radios are so easy to remember, I think because for some reason those boards have very little character space, and we don't have enough to put whatever we want in them, so we decided to remove it. But basically, public board is gonna welcome you every time you clock in and you open up your MDT, and I expect you to read it because things here will change, and I expect if it's written here, I expect you to know it, right? Because it's very simple to just read a single sentence that says, for example, from now on, no more double badging, no matter what, right? If I see you double badged after that announcement is put in there, I'm gonna be very upset, and you can probably imagine why. So just get in the habit of like skimming through it every time you clock on duty. Just know what's going on. Obviously, here is just a giant mess. On the right, I see a command board because I'm part of the command. For you, this is just your typical notes. This is the exact same notes you would see if you opened the specific note tab under the dashboard, under home. This is the exact same thing. This is fully yours. You can put whatever you want in here. This is where you're gonna probably put your templates if you wanna. I recommend using templates. It makes your job a lot easier and quicker to fill out paperwork and invoices for people. We're gonna show you templates soon. So you can put here anything, but like I said, the tricky thing about this note place is that whatever you do in here doesn't get saved as soon as you close the tab or put your MDT down. So always spam that save button. Okie dokie.
Got ya. So if you
Alrighty.
put your
So this is
MDT
your
away,
little corner to have fun.
You can
Under
also
note,
put the 10 codes in there.
that's what I said. Yes.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
What do you mean? That was like the main thing I did. Like the notes is where you're
No,
gonna put your
said
template.
put That's not a that's not a template.
Huh?
10
no,
codes are not template.
No, I said, oh, you said 10 codes you can put in here.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Wouldn't it be? Mm. Yeah, I guess you could. You
if
could. I
you-
think you.
Sorry. If
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
put your MDT away in the locker and then you pick it back up, will the tabs on the top stay open?
No.
Cool. Good to know.
Actually, I think the tabs refresh with your login. Because I'm gonna put my MDT down on the ground now. That's the same as if it was in the locker. I'm gonna pull it back up. Yes, the
Chat, this is
tabs
incredible.
save
I
with
had
your
no idea that you can
in your
clean
cache
blood and
basically.
bits.
So whenever you
Got ya.
you know whenever you log out or change characters, this is when your tabs are gonna all close. So if you crash or the server restarts, you're gonna lose all your tabs and you're gonna have to reopen them again.
God.
Cool, got ya.
It's just tabs. It's just tabs.
Yeah, but what if you
It's
have
fine.
like 20 open?
We gotta reopen
why
them
would
all
you-
again.
Well, if you have 20, why would you have 20 open?
I don't know. Maybe I'm a chaotic person or something.
Well, to be fair, most of the tabs you would open would be only open them for a second. So if you have 20 tabs, that probably means you have 18 of them that are just paperwork that you
Same.
finished writing. So it's just easy way to clean up. There's never a situation where you should have two types of paperwork open at the same time. So, so it's
Ooh,
not.
the push to talk button doesn't work on the mouse when you have the MDT open.
Ah, you see. Why don't you press F3? Because I have news for you. I have added a feature in the F3 menu in settings.
Okay.
Actually, you can scroll down and just above all of the radio tweaks, you have radio in MDT. Select if you want to be able to use radio or walkie-talkie while in MDT. You can actually turn it on.
Oh,
Yeah, huh? So, welcome to the golden age where we can actually talk on the radio while using the MDT, which didn't used to be the case.
That's cool. Sick. And you can actually use the push to talk now.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Keeping the 10 codes even makes more sense on your personal notes, actually. Now. Because you can just kind of reap them off if you forget them. Because I have severe memory problems.
Yeah, that's fine. I just, in my case, I always, back in the day when I was actually learning 10 codes, which is funny because I left the first department I ever played on before learning 10 codes. I came here and suddenly I knew all the 10 codes for some reason. I don't know what happened to my memory, but I just skipped learning them. But back in my day, I just used to have them open in the second screen. But yes, notes, as I said, notes is your little kingdom. You do whatever you want with them. Under notes, you have active personnel. We've already been here. This shows everybody who's currently clocked on duty. This doesn't show people who are on radio. Radio and duty are two separate things, right? But every time you're on duty, you're supposed to be on radio. Every time you're off radio, you're supposed to be off duty, and vice versa, right? If we ever catch you being on duty, but without your radio on, we're gonna assume you're here, trying to collect a paycheck without doing any work, right? If we ever catch you on your radio, but you're not on duty, we're gonna assume that you left your job without leaving your gear behind you. You're gonna get in trouble, right? So both always come hand in hand.
Do you
But anytime
automatically leave the radio when you put it down?
No. Oh wait, yes. Like if
Yeah,
you
it
put it
should
away
get
in a locker, you don't
disconnected.
actually have to. You don't have to turn it off. You'll get disconnected. The only time it's sometimes been bugged in the past if it's the radio is stolen from you while you have it on. I've had it happen to me some time ago in a big kidnapping scene. They took my radio, but for some reason my blip was still on and I could still hear the radio while I was zip-tied. And I obviously you cannot see your own blip on the radio. You can only see other people's radio. So I did not realize until police showed up on the scene that they should have no idea where I was. But after that, there was a changelog that they should fix it. So it should be now that anytime you put your radio away or anybody else takes your radio, it should turn off automatically. So yeah.
Okay.
back
So
to the-
technically, what if we accidentally stab somebody while trying to do their cups?
Huh?
Yeah, no, I sometimes have the thing that it's kind of glitchy. while
Mhm.
looking at somebody else, that it either kind of lags. I think that might just
Mhm.
be the fact that I'm across the ocean or something.
Well, we're
And
neighbors, so
and I
I
tend
sure
to
can relate.
accidentally like double click or misclick,
Mhm.
and it ends
Mhm.
up, you know,
Punching someone.
stabbing them in that case. So
Well, in the case you have your knife out, it's only gonna be with people who are zip tied, and hopefully in that situation you will politely ask them to stop moving first, so you can do that carefully and slowly without risking to stab them.
yeah, but I got shaky hands. What if I accidentally do that?
RP it out.
Well,
Find out an RP.
we're gonna have fun with that in character.
Oh no! Sorry, that German
Don't
thing came out.
worry, don't
My
worry.
German
I have
expression.
Don't worry, I have murdered a lot of people. Just don't get caught.
board.
Okay.
Official stances don't do crime. If you want my character's official stances, don't get caught.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have a severed head of a blown up IAA agent
Holy shit.
and his badge. So you know, it's like
Don't
skill
be
issue.
suspicious.
All
No,
right,
don't be suspicious.
Yep. Okay, roster. Don't give a fuck. It's not updated. It's not the same we're using. Don't ever go there. Yeah. Don't use that. Second tab, patients database. We already went through patients, right?
Yeah.
We know how to look them up. Let's go ahead and look me up. That's wrong thing. That's a law enforcement's toy. Where is mine? Go. There you go. That's something that you're gonna see. I guess there should be a photo attached, but not here. That's what you're gonna see when people show your ID. Go ahead and try to look up my profile in the patient's database.
Ooh, platinum.
Got-
Also, you probably noticed that if you hover your mouse off of the MDT, it becomes transparent, so you can peek as to what's going on. You're not blinded by the MDT. You can also type like this, etc. So you're never forced to have the MDT block your screen.
Okay.
Let
No
me go
blood
into my
test.
own-
Oh lord.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Like has to be done manually, etc.
Do you get, if someone adds an emergency contact on their phone, will it automatically show here?
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
hell yeah.
it's all automatic. Anybody can click that red button which says add to emergency contacts, and it's here automatically. I'm just gonna
Wait, I've never
do that
done
right
that
now.
before.
Yeah, because I've got
Go
someone.
ahead and yeah, I'll give you my phone numbers. You give me your phone numbers. Beautiful. Now you can go ahead and go into contacts. Click on the contact, and at the very bottom you see the add to emergency contacts. That's all you have to click. And I'll go ahead and add you both to mine. And when you refresh my profile, which you'd probably have to, go back and open it back up. Yep, there you go. 2 emergency contacts: Caroline Rivers and Jesse James.
Yeehaw.
Yep, if you notice, there are 2 other tabs: medical reports and invoices. That's how you find, someone's paperwork, without having to look up specific paperwork. You see all of their paperwork here in the list that they've been included as obviously the patient, right? That's not the paperwork you've done. That's the paperwork that's been done on you. All right, so we got that. That's basically all.
Where is the emergency contact?
At the very bottom, you have 3 tabs: medical reports, medical
yeah.
invoices, and phone emergency contact.
Oh,
What
gotcha.
is the emergency contact thing under the notes tab?
Huh?
I guess if you want to add someone else.
Oh, no, that's it. Go ahead and close my profile, open a new tab, search for me again. Like I said, you can actually just click back. That'll take you back to the search bar, and you can click on my profile again, because I just added you, right? So you were looking at an old profile.
Under the notes.
Yeah, that
Next
just
to
shows
spouse.
the emergency contacts that.
Oh,
Yeah,
next
that
to the
just-
spouse.
Oh,
That does-
that's nothing. That's just a field for a note. So like if a person requests for one specific person to be contacted above anyone else, right? You can put them here, right? It's same as allergies, right? If someone wants to RP having allergies, you can put whatever you want here. If someone wants to RP having a blood group, you can put it here, right? If someone wants to RP having a spouse here and asks for it, in person, you can put it here. Sorry, I didn't, because obviously we don't
worries.
use it because people add emergency contacts through their phone, so there's no need to add a special emergency contact on top of it all, since it's all the same. Ooh,
Alright.
I guess a useful thing. You cannot add those phone emergency contacts. So, for example, we have a patient who doesn't have a phone, but RP's having, I don't know, a note in their pocket saying, in case of emergency, please contact this, right? Because sometimes people forget to set emergency contacts, but they still want to, go to the ICU and have people be notified. So that's how sometimes they do it. So in that case, you could very much just add that to here, right? Because they are not able to do it through their phone because they're knocked out, don't have a phone, but they still want to have that RP. So there you go. It's the same as the note field. You can put whatever you want in that note field, right? Somebody wants to RP being colorblind, you can go ahead and run through all the tests with them and go with the conclusion in the notes, adding to their profile, right? Or if you want to trespass someone, right? That's same place. You can put whatever you want in that medical profile. So
And those notes in their profile will be just for you, or will they be saved for everyone?
No, that's for everyone.
For everyone, cool.
That's just a medical profile. It's separate from a criminal profile.
ya.
So everybody in the state has two profiles, criminal and medical. So we are the only people who have access to this profile, but it's shared between. So everybody sees these notes, right? So everybody every time you want to put a note that's actually of relevance about a patient, you put it here. Don't put silly stuff here. Unless the person wants silly stuff on file, of course.
But my spouse
Alright.
is cheese sticks.
All right. We're gonna skip medical reports for now. We're gonna go to Kanban boards under patients database. Let me know once you're there. Yep. All right. So we see a bunch of different boards. That's basically where we put our templates and other paperwork stuff. Let's go ahead and open the templates one. This is obviously not the one we have on the live server. This is just a crude, quick copy to put something in here. If you see, you have Chloe's template. This is where you'll find the templates for a paperwork you're going to be doing, right? This whole thing is just something you can go ahead and copy, and either copy it from here every time, or just put it straight in your notes, so you can copy it from your notes into your paperwork. That makes paperwork easier. This way, you only fill out the relevant spaces instead of having to write everything by hand. It's all up to you. You can absolutely write everything by hand. We're gonna explain to you how paperwork works in just a second. It's not that complicated. There's very little details that need to be mentioned. But if you like templates and you like making things pretty, you can make your own, use the ones provided, etc., etc.
Okay, so technically we can spice it up and make it pink.
Absolutely. You do whatever you want. You're gonna be required of putting just 3 crucial things in paperwork. Anything else on top of that is fine. All right, let's go back to the normal boards and look at the ICU tracker, for example. That's how it's going to be looking. Obviously, there's going to be more rooms, and how we put people, quote unquote, in the ICU rooms. We just add this sort of little tab under the room we're putting them in. That's we see that doesn't have any more patients in, so you can just click that little plus icon and you're gonna have a field to fill out. There's you can already see how one has already been filled out, so you can remake that with relevant information, or there's templates on the same page in the live server as well, so that there's no such paperwork that you wouldn't know how to fill out. Everything is in the Kanban board, so even if you, God forbid, have have to deal with somebody dead, and there's quote unquote nobody that knows how to deal with somebody dead, there is a Kanban board on the live server that specifies the procedure very specifically with everything, templates and all, every single step. So there's never a situation where you wouldn't know how to do something, because if you don't, you could just look it up, right?
Okay.
There's a
great.
template and instruction for everything. Yep. And again, everyone who's operator and above should be trained in all of these things, but I don't know. I clocked on for a bit yesterday and I had to teach operators how to deal with dead bodies and putting people in the ICUs because,
We
Uh.
write reports about everything, right?
uh,
Then, like, when we go to calls.
actually, we don't write reports almost about anything. We write invoices most of the time. Reports are more of a doctor thing.
Oh.
Let's go ahead and look at insurance database before we actually go into the paperwork. Let's open up treatment catalog under insurance database.
Okay, so I never want to be transported by a helicopter to know.
Those fees are higher than on the live server, I'm pretty sure. Because like the inflation is all calculated automatically, so I think by inflating the state budget so much on this dev server to like, hundreds of millions of dollars, it made the prices jump up a little bit as well. But yeah, this is basically all the fees we as SAMS personnel can charge people for. We can charge anybody that we have the state ID of and that person is currently online and in the vicinity. So you might find that sometimes people give fake names, right? Because I don't know, they're saying they don't have an ID, so they're gonna give you a fake name, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, I cannot charge you," so you just gotta RP out pressing for the name harder, unless they are, unless they have a good RP reason for not giving you a name, and it's just part of a scheme to scam out the hospital and they run off. That's fair enough, but. If you ever run into a situation where somebody just doesn't want to talk to you, like doesn't give anything back, and they're just running into the hospital, hopping into the bed to get magically treated without any interaction, and then run off, guess what you can do in that situation, or you should do in that situation?
Report.
/report. Well, not slash. You don't actually need to use slash on this server, but yes, report. We're gonna go back to that in a second. I'm going on tangents. Let's focus on these charges. If you notice, the first three are insurance tiers. And if you hover over them, they explain precisely what they do. If somebody buys platinum silver insurance, they get 50% off of all medical fees for a month, 30 days specifically, or 31, I think maybe. I always assumed it was 30, but I think lately I calculated it might be 31. Doesn't matter. If they buy gold, it covers if they buy platinum, it covers 100% of medical fees. Caveat, there are some medical fees that are not included, which we're going to go over. But basically, how you give someone platinum insurance, it's all automatic. You're going to basically just invoice them for the insurance, and that's it. That's going to put the insurance on their profile, and all of their charges moving forward will be automatically adjusted. You don't have to worry about anything. So let's actually go through the charges and get them explained. Ambulance transport fee, when would we use that?
I wonder.
Being transported by an ambulance.
Wow.
Where?
To the hospital.
Yeah, to the hospital. Specifically to the hospital. Next charge, field treatment fee. When would that be appropriate?
Charge for free. It says something above it. If you treat someone in the field,
What does that mean?
So if you use a bandage? Or is it like everything?
Oh, they ain't gonna be in a hayfield.
What do you think?
I think it's being just treated in general.
I personally say that, they don't get brought to the hospital, maybe?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. Field treatment is when you are done with a patient on the scene and they don't come to the hospital with you. It's everything from a stubbed toe that you put a single block of ice on to make it feel better to, I guess, in a very, very extreme scenario, stapling someone's gunshot or stab wound closed on the scene because they're being giant baby and screaming about not wanting to go to the hospital, right? Obviously, we avoid field treatment as much as possible since it's technically an RP skip, right? obviously we can RP through it, but at the end of the day, it's using a mechanic to not have to go to the hospital and RP injuries out, right? With doctors, etc. So use it very, very, very sparingly. I would hope that you would be able to leave it specifically for scuff, for example, right? I don't know. Great Ocean Highway. I'm not sure if you've yourself had the pleasure, but there was a very long time that every time you were just driving down or up Great Ocean Highway, you would just fucking crash. And chances
yeah.
were, when you logged back in, you appear in the middle of highway, and what do you know? You appear dead because you spawn in and got run over before you even loaded fully in. So,
happened a lot.
in situations where people, fall through the ground or something like that, and they start, explaining things that are awkward, and you realize that they're just got fucked up because of a bug, right? I will never blame you for using medkit in that situation, right? Yep. But for actual injuries, very, very sparingly, borderline never, right?
Okay.
Even when it's a cop who's screaming at you, you don't have a duty to, pick them up, right? Because then they can complain about it, yell at another cop to come with their medkit and pick them up, and we're gonna judge them for being, low quality RPers who wants to, skip having to RP injuries as cops love doing. But yes, we expect you to use field treatment very sparingly. But as I said, even if you don't actually use any equipment, right? And you arrive on a scene that's an RP injury, right? I don't know. Somebody's nose started bleeding like crazy because they're a pervert. I don't know, and you just shove a tampon up it. That's also a field treatment, unless they have to come to the hospital, right? It's basically for any time you show up and you treat somebody without the need for them to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's strictly it. And it's also more expensive than going to the hospital. So there's another reason to not use it, right? Because people actually have to pay more for it than if they got in the ambulance and went to the hospital. Smart people would try to use it to avoid helicopter fees, because if you know, this helicopter transport fee alone is more expensive than the field treatment fee. But as I said, we use field treatment very sparingly. So in most cases, if they're fucked up and need to go to the hospital, we're gonna take them up to the hospital. We're not gonna let them save money by magically picking them up on the scene. So helicopter transport fee, self-explanatory. Hazard fee. Go ahead and try guess what that's about.
Going
or
into
more specifically,
gang wars and maybe even gang turf.
there's a very simple way to explain hazard fee or a situation where it's a problem.
Hey, if we're in hazard,
Am I getting
Yeah.
hurt? Am I possibly getting hurt?
Yes. Am I endangering my life to save a patient? Yes, it's a hazard fee, right? We show up to a gang shootout, right? We show up to the mall and it's being very crazy. We show up to an exploded car, but as soon as we show up and we try to pick them out of the car, other cars start exploding around us, right? It's very much just, if you can articulate, right, that you had to put your life at risk, even Mount Chiliad calls, right? If it's someone stuck on a cliff and it's very, very difficult to pull them out and you risk falling. I wouldn't call it a hazard fee, but I wouldn't blame you for calling it a hazard fee, right? It's any time we as personnel has to endanger our life in order to save a patient. Mostly it's like most basic things are, either active shootouts, because we as TACMED will show up on active shootouts and we'll try to recover patients from active shootouts, right? We're not going to shoot back unless people shoot at us. But, if there's live fire and we have to, run under it to recover a patient, obviously that's a hazard, right? The same thing for cartel calls where you have to shoot down NPCs, all of that, and we get shot at, all of that. This is very simple. One thing, that is still covered by insurance. So people have no excuse to complain about it, right? Because if they don't want to pay for us having to risk our lives, all they have to do is just get insurance, and they no longer have to pay for it. We will listen. Yep.
if we get shot at by NPCs and end up flopping, do we alpha?
That depends.
I mean, they're technically not a real person, but it was still violent.
Yeah, I would say it's on the line. It depends how you would basically, if you think about it, between the difference between alpha and bravo is how many units will respond. Everyone will come to an alpha. You're gonna have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 police cars showing up out of nowhere to an alpha, right? So usually during a cartel call, unless, for example, you are the only tag team on duty and all of you go down, there's not really a need to call in alpha, because if you go down on that scene, we know what's happening and we have more units, you know, you can call a bravo. We're gonna know specifically what happened and we're gonna head straight there and rescue you, right? But for example, you know, if you're in a cartel call alone and, you know, there's only 2 or 3 tag team around and you all got shot down, you know, and there's no way to rescue you, there would be, you know, I would say it would be appropriate to 13 alpha so that cops, you know, don't mistakenly show up, you know, in a single badge, you know, thinking it's just, you know, a little ambulance explosion and they can just, you know, put you back on your feet and you'll be on your merry way, and instead they show up, you know, to getting shot down because they didn't check where they're going, right? So it's very much just
Okay.
yeah. It's basically depends on what kind of a response you want to see, right? Because alpha will be all available units responding. Bravo will be minimal response, obviously excluding context, right? So we as TACMed, we know what's going on. If we see a bravo, at a cartel call, we know what happened. We're gonna head there to help out, right? But like for all of other people, they'll just, you know, they don't need to all head there immediately, because as you said, it's not an actual RP situation.
Okay.
So I'd say it's on the line. It depends. You get used to it. I would not blame you if you alpha in that situation. Because how I treat alpha is alpha if my life is in danger, right? I alpha'd from being run over by a local car because somebody, you know, tackled me into it.
Oh my god.
And almost dying from it, right? So because it's like, hey, I almost died. And, you know, someone technically caused it. I don't have an issue with calling an alpha on that. A lot of people have gotten a lot of trouble about alphas and bravos lately because they actually use them for a joke. And they got into a lot of shit. So you don't have to worry about that situation. Yeah, the situation you brought up would be 100% justifiable. It's just depends on context, right?
Okay.
As I said, in a context where we have more of us on duty than just you, I don't see a reason to alpha at all, because we are, trust me, we are actually better equipped for cartel calls, etc., than PD even is. So, because we actually are used to them and we know what we're doing and we're forcing tactical training and we're, you know, having scene leads and we're telling people how to do stuff instead of like PD is on those calls where there's just one officer with a gun running into, and then surprise, surprise, they get shot down, and then you have to rescue them as well. I loved every time we gave PD control of a cartel call in the past, and they fucked it up so bad that we made it a policy to never let PD take lead on those scenes. We don't give a fuck. We take care of them ourselves. They want to show up to help, sure, but we're in charge because they don't know what they're doing. But that's, you know, besides the point. All right, that's the hazard fee. Wheelchair sale. As I said previously, when we're going through the all of the equipment, that's whenever somebody needs to buy a wheelchair. Those are obviously only for people who are actively RPing injuries. You cannot just show up with the money and be like, hey, I want to buy a wheelchair. In most cases, that would be for a doctor to handle. But if there's no doctors available, nobody would blame you for, you know, giving a person, you know, an assessment either by yourself or quote unquote with a nurse, you know, double checking their damage, making sure that they are medically cleared, you know, and in need of a wheelchair, and then sure, just charge them for a wheelchair. You come here, you buy a wheelchair, and you pass it to them. But as I said, that would probably be only for the doctors. Surgery fee. Can we guess when that's a thing?
When they need surgery.
When
they go into
somebody
the-
gets shoved in an OR. Yep. Which means you probably very rarely have to use it, because in most cases you will have your paperwork done before the patient even gets to the hospital, which means you will apply the generic charge. That is the next one, general treatment fee. Can anybody guess what that stands for?
Being treated in the
At
hospital.
the hospital?
Yeah.
Yes, that is a charge for anybody who lays in a hospital bed. That's basically it, you know. OC, you get healed at the hospital, you get general treatment fee. Doesn't matter if you walked in by yourself, doesn't matter if you run in and tried to avoid paying, doesn't matter if we brought you in, doesn't matter if you're dying or not, you're getting a general treatment fee. And that's the basic, because even if somebody is dying, you don't know, you might, it's up to the person that roles plays to decide if they want to actually go into the surgery or they are fine with, doctors doing everything on the bedside. So for you as a TACMed, since, we have so many people on a team, you have 3-4 people in an ambulance, there's rarely going to be the case where you're anytime you are transporting a patient to the hospital and you don't have the paperwork ready, there are two answers. A, it's a mass casualty event and you have too many people to cover, right? It's either a bunch of 95s, so you don't have to worry about them running off, right? Because you leave them in a locked room and PD will oversee them, so you can write the paperwork here. Or it's literally a mass casualty and you have 10 people dying, so you have to transport them quickly before they die, so you don't have the time to finish all your paperwork. So that's one of the two reasons why paperwork would not be finished while you're taking a patient to the hospital. Second one is sadly your incompetence, because we have teams, right? We have one person driving, there's nothing stopping everyone else from getting in the back of the ambulance and, checking up on the patients, doing the medical RP, stabilizing them, and writing the paperwork, right? All of that can be done as you're on scene and as you're leaving the scene and driving to the hospital. So that's why you mostly will only care about general treatment fee, because if they go to the hospital and turns out they have to go to the OR, either a doctor can ask you to write a second invoice just for surgery fee. That's literally just, hey, additional charge for surgery fee for the last invoice, or they'll do it themselves, right?
So doctors can
You
also
yourself-
charge patients.
Yes,
It's not just on us.
everybody can charge patients. Yep. Somebody walks in, right? Or if you are, for example, whatchamacallit, if you yourself are swarmed with calls and don't have enough personnel to do paperwork, right? Nobody's gonna blame you for bringing a patient up to the treatment floor, being like, hey doc, didn't have the time to get the ID, they're dying, we got another call, we're gonna head out, you go ahead and deal with the invoice. It's absolutely in their job description as well, right? The only difference is you have the ability to start the paperwork while on the field, but if the situation calls that you cannot, it's fine. But yes, general treatment fee and surgery fee. Yep.
Can people work on reports at the same time?
No.
Cool.
Invoices cannot be worked on at all when you put it in. It stays that way. Reports can be edited after the fact by the person who made it.
Got it.
So that's why doctors focus on reports after the fact is done, because obviously a person has to be online and in the vicinity to be able to be charged. So if there's a situation where there's a detailed medical issue, and there's a lot of things to write, the best thing to do is just make a blank medical report, right? Link it to an invoice, right? And you don't have to put any information in the invoice then. You just have to charge them for the things you need to charge them, right? Because that's the only part you need to have the player around, right?
Yeah.
And then once that's done, you can go back to the report and slowly fill it out at your own time. You don't have to worry about the patient being around, because that's just text, right? Yeah. Then you can add all the informations you want. But that's specifically for, like, if there's no doctors on duty and you have to do surgery, RP, etc., etc. In most cases, it'll be very simple. Just put it in a template into an invoice, fill it up, invoice the patient, and leave them up with the docs to actually heal them up.
Cool.
What about surgery fee and general treatment fee? Would it be okay to include both?
I'd say no.
I would say
Wrong.
yes. It depends
Actually.
if they have surgery and then like extra little bits that the doctor has to look at it.
All right, let's just say you bring in a patient into here. You know they're gonna go to surgery. You immediately charge them just for surgery fee. Absolutely fine. You bring in a patient not knowing if they're gonna need surgery. You charge them for general treatment. Turns out they need surgery. You charge them for surgery on top. Also fine. Why it's fine? Because general treatment is so fucking expensive. It doesn't matter. right?
Thank you for the follow.
The only thing, there are two things that are important. It has to be at least general treatment for all patients, obviously, right? Because you cannot, why would you be invoiced if you're not getting treatment unless it's like, you know, a wheelchair, say, for example. But if it's a patient, you know, it's got to be at least general treatment, right? And if it's surgery, it has to be surgery. It doesn't have to be both. It can be both, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who gets general treatment has to have at least general treatment, and somebody who goes to surgery has to have the surgery fee. Doesn't have to have general treatment. It doesn't matter if it's included or not because it's such a small charge, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the logic between the two. You're fine putting both. If you want to charge a little bit extra, it's fine. It doesn't matter. You know, because technically it's fine, right? They get charged for the time they spent in the surgery and also for the general treatment that we have to do on top of a normal surgery, right? They don't get dropped into an OR and walk in alive, right? They get put back into a treatment floor, they get stabilized and all of that and taken care of. So like in character, it makes sense to charge for both. I'm just saying it's not necessary. Next
Right.
charge, hospital violence fee. Can we guess when that is appropriate?
When someone
Um,
is violent towards you or near
the
you.
hospital.
Yeah,
Well,
in the hospital.
It's it's very specific. It's only in the hospital. If you get shot outside hospital,
Yeah.
tough luck. Can't charge them. It's specifically for people who are violent towards SAM's personnel at the hospital grounds that technically it extends towards our active patients because we as SAM's personnel have a duty to protect our patients. So technically, if somebody puts a gun to your patient's head that you are currently carrying on, you are to treat it as if the gun is pressed to your head as well, right? As in, your self-defense extends towards staff, equipment, and patients, active patients, right? So if there's two random people on the street that shoot each other, you couldn't care less. But as soon as you arrived on a call and you start treating somebody and somebody shows up and wants to hurt that person even more, you are allowed to defend that person because you are also defending yourself. That's how self-defense works.
So we're allowed to pull out our gun,
You will.
technically.
Funny you should ask. You will probably always have your gun out on the call.
Oh. Okay.
Yep, you're TACMED. You will probably always have your gun out unless you're, I don't know, actually working on a patient, right? Then you know put the gun away, and you don't need to have your gun in your hand while you're wrapping bandages. Probably good thing to do. But yes, as TACMED, our thing is we always arrived armed and ready, right? We don't get surprised, ambushed by anybody. We roll onto a scene no matter what, guns at the ready. If people don't like it, they can cry about it. We have legal protection and allowance to do that. So we do that. We actually do show up with guns in hand, raised, flashlights on. Hello, TACMED on scene. If you're here and injured, make yourself known. Right? Step away from patient. Step away from patient. Right? Yeah. We're in charge of scenes. Yep. So yes, this is specifically when. So, by that definition, right? If a patient is attacked, you are attacked. That's why hospital violence extends towards patients, right? Because they haven't attacked Sam's personnel per se, but they forced us to enact self-defense, which technically means they haven't attacked us, right? So it's this very specific charge that is not covered by any of the insurance, obviously, for specific reasons when people attacked hospital staff at the hospital. And it's also very important whenever you use that or the hazard fee to very clearly explain in an invoice the reason for that, right? You cannot just ignore it. If you're going to charge somebody hospital violence fee, you better put in, pulled out a gun and shot Dr. Chanel in the fucking face and got shot down, right? There better be clear reason, right? Because they might not like getting charged by the hospital because they get charged by the PD on top of that, right? And they will go to court, and if the court pulls out, if the court pulls out, their invoice, and it doesn't say anything, it's just hospital violence fee, they're gonna be like, well, what the fuck did you charge that person? Give that money back, right? You have to always explain, how you have to put your life in danger in order to save them, or how they earn the hospital violence fee. In hazard fee, it's simpler, right? You don't have to specify right? Because if you say in the call that you responded to, Palomino Highlands call, then it's self-explanatory that this is a cartel call. You came in with fucking sniper rifles overlooking you and ready to shoot you. Obviously, that's something you're you're risking your life for. But for hospital violence fee, very literally explain what happened so that the hospital violence fee sticks. And that's all the charges, because everything else is just prescription. That's for doctors. You will never touch that at all.
Right.
That was a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Don't worry about it. That's
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry. You'll look. Normal call, ambulance transport fee, and general treatment fee. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You go in a helicopter transfer fee and general treatment fee. You come in and you pick them up on scene, field treatment. That's all.
Yeah.
This is usually how it goes, right? Oh, the call was dangerous. You slap a hazard fee, right? That's all.
Yeah.
All right, so let's actually go to the invoices right now. We'll write a mock-up to get familiar with the process. You'll see once you click it, obviously that opens all the recent ones. And if you click on Add New, it'll open a new one. All right. Now there are 3 things that every invoice has to include. Can you guess what it is?
ID, title, and date.
I'm talking about the body, like actual details you put into the information you share in the invoice. There are 3 very crucial details that need to be in every invoice.
State ID?
We're talking about the body. Obviously, you have the
Oh.
patient on top and the title. Think about what details about the situation are crucial to an invoice.
Basically the patient's situation, like how they are.
Injuries.
Yes.
All right, that's one of the 3. Correct. There's 2 more things.
Information about what happened, where it happened, who who did it? Well, no, who treated them?
You did get another crucial detail. Where it happened. Now I'll tell you the 3 crucial details that have to be in every single invoice is where the call came from, what happened to the patient, and what you did to the patient, right? So let's try to write a narrative invoice instead of using a template. For example, let's say somebody got shot in the mall. Who could have guessed, right? You had to arrive on scene, grab that patient up, for example, pack their wound on the scene so they don't bleed out, right? Put them on an IV in an ambulance, drive them to the hospital, and leave them here with the doctors. What do you think you could just write as a sentence to explain all those 3 things?
So you could say TACMed or whatever your call sign is, or whatever arrived at hotel or mall. The TACMed received a call from this location, so the mall, about an individual who appeared to be shot down or something.
All right. You're worrying a bit too much. We're going for like the minimum effort, because like obviously you can go with as much effort as you want, but let's start with like the absolute minimal. Like the absolute minimal would be, for example, you don't even have to include that you yourself, because obviously you're the doctor / medic in the field. So like you're the one making, so everyone's gonna assume you were on the field. In templates we include other people we're in with a team, so it's like good to track back. But like for very, very, very crucial details, it doesn't have to be included. So like the simplest, shortest, quickest thing to write here would be just a simple sentence of found patients with GSWs to shoulder at the mall, stabilized and transport to the hospital for treatment. That's literally all. That includes the location. The call was at the mall. You know what happened to the patient. they had a GSW to the shoulder, and that also includes what you did to the patient, which is stabilizing them. You don't have to. You don't have to detail what you actually did to stabilize because you don't actually have to have medical knowledge. We're RPing medical professionals. We would rather have an actual role players here than somebody who knows every single detail about medical knowledge, how to do everything. So you don't. If you don't know how to handle the scene, you can play it as if your character does know, right? And you don't have to spell it out for other people what you're doing because you know what you're doing. Your character knows what they're doing. They are a medical professional. That's the whole thing. So yeah, that literally includes all of them. Location, mall, what happened, GSWs, what you did, stabilize and transport it. And that's literally all that's necessary for like the bare minimum, right? So that's why I said templates aren't even necessary because that single sentence is enough for a invoice to be acceptable, right?
Yeah.
It can get even shorter, for example, if you're treating somebody who is a walk-in, right? Literally, you're just gonna write walk-in visit with bruises, put on ice packs. That's all, and you're gonna treat them for general treatment. It doesn't need to be more. Obviously, I would recommend using templates. I like using templates. I think they make things clean and easier and harder for you to miss details, right? But that's basically it. Yes. So what has to be in an invoice?
So, sorry, you go.
No, you do. Don't worry.
Where from, what happened, and what you did.
Yep. Patient's location, injuries, and what you did to them, which is in most cases just usually, how you treated them on scene or in an ambulance, depending on how hectic the scenario is. If you have the units, we prefer that you obviously if a patient is not in a situation where you have to do something on the scene, that you put them in an ambulance, and while you're driving back, you do all the medical stuff to them, right? Because you can put them on a stretcher, load them out in the ambulance, walk into the back of the ambulance, and actually, either slash me's or talk through actually doing, putting in the IV. You don't have to do it while sitting on the scene, being basically a pinata waiting to get shot in the head, etc., etc. That's how we handle it, right? Because we have such big ambulances and so many people on a team. There's always should be somebody able who can just, hang out with the patient in the back of the ambulance and keep the RP going instead of just, doing everything on scene and then it's just a silent ride back to the hospital with nothing happening, and the person is just waiting to be able to do something. So yeah. Where? Obviously, in most calls, as you have noticed on your dispatch, it always comes up with the location. So if you don't know how to explain it, realistically, which would be like, the mall, by the Vinewood sign, etc., etc. You can always just use the street or area from the dispatch call to explain it. That's fine as well.
All right.
But in
Can
most
we make
cases,
an invoice?
Yeah, actually, go ahead. We're gonna make one. I'm gonna give you a
Yeah.
situation.
I did
I
one
guess you
to the-
already did.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. I'll explain you a situation, and I'm gonna want you to write it. And I want you to pick if you want to use a template or not. You know where to find the template already. One of the Chloe's one. All right. So imagine a situation. You're driving. You're driving in the city. An injured person comes in. You go towards the injured person. On the way, the injured person turns into an incapacitated person on the way in the same location. So you can assume it's the same person that just, pressed their life alert. You arrived on scene. You're under a crane at the docks on the south of the on the server. You find a person who's groaning with a parachute on them. You ask what happened. They say they fucked up a parachute jump because it's difficult to land on this one crane. You go ahead and load the patient up. They RP as not having any serious injuries. They can wiggle their toes and all of that, so they don't have a fucking broken spine. And you go ahead and you bring them 2 pillbox to get fully checked out and treated. I want you to go ahead and write an invoice for that situation and write me as the patient. Here's the ID again if you didn't see that. and take all the time you need. Either go into details or try doing the bare minimum. It's all up to you.
Which docks was it?
Huh?
Which docks?
There's like the docks down south. Let's just say, I guess it would call in as Elysian Island. This is, Elysian Island. The street name is Place. It's the docks at the very south. Where there's the fishmonger and all of the mechanic shops, etc.
Lord, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to worry if you. This is a template. You can obviously just. You can use a different location if it's gonna make it easier for you. This is just to look over what details you include and give you some pointers. Don't worry about it. This is not a test. You are not even getting trained yet. You are being taught to be ready to be trained. So you literally don't have to worry about anything right now. Just write whatever you feel is somewhat appropriate.
But they were brought to the hospital, right?
Yes, they were brought to the hospital.
Okay. Damn.
There's ambulance. And then general treatment. Done? Question mark?
All right. Yep, went through. Sure have charged me. Same amount for both of you. Alrighty. Now I want both of you to go into invoices. So it shows you all of the new one. Click refresh if you don't see them. And let's take a look at the Caroline one, all right?
Which one? You got two.
Yeah, the one you just did, the parachuting accident. So let's take a look through that. And first up, no need to number of patients, not necessary. You are obviously only able to invoice one patient at a time. It's specifically for that patient, so that's a detail you will not include. Second, no need to include location at the title, right? That's something for the body. So in this case, a title for this invoice would be parachuting accident. That is the only thing that is relevant, right? So when people look at the invoices, you either include what type of injury it was or what sort of thing resulted in the accident, right? So you either would, if somebody gets shot, right, you either put in shootout at mall, so that you have the context, or you would say GSW is too shorter because that's the actual injury, right? There's no need to include location in the title unless it's extremely relevant because you put it in the body itself. Again, no need for numbers, so that would be just parachuting incident. And then first thing, you have the 1052 response. If you take a look at the 10 codes, 52 response is actually a request for medical by radio. So that would be a police, BCSO, or Rangers being over radio. Hey, we have someone injured. Would you mind coming over, right? It's either for a 95, which is a person is... Yep.
What if there was PD on scene?
Well, that's fine, but I'm just explaining that that means that it's a request for medical overview. That's not us responding to dispatch, to a specific, right? So just so you know what it actually means. So that would be a 1047 response. 47 is a dispatch call, right? That's someone who gets injured. We get a notification and we go there and rescue them. That's the difference. 52 is somebody finds somebody that's hurt or somebody hurts somebody, goes on our radio and be like, TACMate from PD, requesting 52s at the mall. We shot somebody in the head, they died, right? That's a 52. This is a simple 47. Okay, so dispatch SAMs, that's fine. Location, perfect. Transport, ambulance, so we know why the ambulance transport fee. Responders, TACMed 1. That's actually That's actually a mistake of Maddie in that template. There's no such thing as TACMED 1. Our ambulances are TAC teams, right? We are TACMED as a whole, and first ambulance that's out is TAC Team 1, right? And second ambulance that's out is TAC Team 2, right? If we have 2 ambulances or 3 ambulances out on patrol, they're just 1, 2, and 3. TAC Team 1, 2, and 3. So that's on Chloe for having an incorrect thing written here. Obviously, you wouldn't be just yourself if you were an attack team, would have multiple units. You are able to respond to calls solo once you're an operator, if it calls for it. So in that case, responders will be just your call sign. In this case, the responders will be tag team 1, and then all of the call signs of the people you are with, as long as you're willing to put the effort of actually putting them in, right? If you want to go into that detail, you can always just you can always just make an invoice before you go to the call. So that whenever the call comes in, you are ready with the paperwork already filled in with who you're on in the ambulance, right? Because you usually are in the ambulance before you respond to something, unless it's a back-to-back call. But that's that's depending on you how much details you want to put in. Conditions, yep, you said what's wrong with them, and obviously nothing major. And what happened to them, which is you excluded mentioning that you did anything on scene or check anything, which is fine.
I'm so
You
tired,
just say
chat.
transported to Pillbox Medical, parachuting accident, more than fine. So just those little things. Now let's take a look at the Jesse James one.
I'm so tired.
Parachute accident in the title, perfect. Don't worry, I didn't explain. Obviously, you left all of the options in the template. I already explained the difference,
Yeah.
right? 47 is a dispatch call, 52 is a radio call. They're also different, right? You would put here, if you want, in your template, like I have in my template and the template I made on the live server. That's a little bit more correct than this one. Also, 13 Alpha or Bravos here, since that's also a thing we respond to, right?
Yeah.
So location under crane on docks on south of LS, yeah, that's fine. You can explain however you want. Transport ambulance. Responders, it was just you, that's fine. Same injuries, clean bruises and scrapes, transported to Pillbox Medical, perfect. And all of you have applied correct charges, which would be just general treatment and ambulance transport fee.
Phew.
And once you
Good
invoice
job.
someone, you just can't re-edit the.
Yes,
Once
yes,
you've
yes. Like I said before, that's why in a case where you need to pull out of detail, that's why you make a empty medical report. You attach that ID of the medical report into your invoice, so you can just make an empty invoice with just the charges, right?
Yeah.
Charge the person for what you need to charge them, and then you go back to that medical report and you slowly fill it out at your own pace.
got ya.
There are a few things to mention about invoices and reports in the meantime. You cannot edit doctor/medic field. 1 in a million years, you're gonna find a location where it's bugged and you don't show up. You just have to, if you have already written something, you just have to copy what you did, open a new invoice or report, and put it in, because 1 in a million years the doctor/medic field is empty and you cannot add yourself to it. It's all automatic. So if you're ever in a situation where you cannot make an invoice or report, you just look up to make sure that you show up there. Sometimes you might not, right? Obviously, it has to have a patient. You can look up patient by either full name, not full name, but by name or state ID. Now, there is a caveat. Sometimes looking up by name will not work. There are very rare instances when we look up the correct name and nothing shows up. But as soon as we put in the number, it shows up. So that's why it's very important to, always see ID, other than the fact that we have to make sure that they're not committing fraud, right? Because anybody can give you any name, right? Or any ID with a picture that's not theirs because they stole it. Like, we actually check all of our patients' IDs. There are ways to go around it, but for you, the very bare bones is we always check the ID. We make sure that, the picture matches, and then we go with the identity, unless you physically know the person, right?
Yeah.
I don't expect you to having to ID a fucking Stephen Hayes every time he comes into a hospital, right? You just can go ahead because you know that person.
Cool.
So that's that. Title and body actually has a requirement for length. So sometimes if you put a title that's a little bit too short, or notes that are a little bit too short, you won't be able to make it. So
Mhm.
if you are
Oh, I'm
cannot
so
think
tired.
of a word to add to a title, just put in a bunch of spaces. It's just a physical character requirement that it cannot be too short. If you if you put, I'm pretty sure if you just put, for example, like GSW neck,
I'm
that
so
would be a little
hungry.
bit too short, and you would not be able to create it, even though that's 100% valid
I'm
title. So in that
hungry
case, if
and
you
I'm
don't want to put anything
sleepy.
extra, just a bunch of spaces. So
It's a
that's
good thing
something.
this
And
is
also, you
done on a
cannot make an
Friday.
invoice if there's no charges, obviously.
Because it
'Cause
means like
that's what
then I have
medical
2
reports
days
are for,
to
right?
chill
There's no
out.
need for a charge. You just put in information. That's a medical report. You put in charges. That's this. And can you guess? Now I want you both to invoice me for insurance, platinum in this case. And I'm not gonna give you any pointers. Just go ahead and invoice the same character for insurance.
Mm,
As in, I come in and I want to buy insurance, right?
yeah.
Because
Which
obviously we don't
insurance
charge
do you want?
people for insurance. Platinum for both of you. Obviously we don't charge people for
Sorry.
insurance without consent.
We make a medical invoice and insurance. All right.
No, it's just an invoice.
Oh.
All right.
Wait, what?
I wanted to throw a curveball because invoicing people for insurance is extremely easy. Okay, so both of you open up a new invoice.
Oh.
Guess what you're gonna put as a title.
Platinum insurance purchase?
Mm-hmm. Guess what you're gonna put as the notes.
Penelope Inc.
exact same
requested.
thing.
Oh, literally
No, the
that.
exact same thing.
Sick.
It's that simple. You're just charging them for insurance. Guess
And
what
then
charge
you
you're
add
gonna
the
add
charge
to that
platinum
invoice.
insurance. Insurance.
Yep. Yeah, and you create the invoice, and it's
Yeah.
that simple. That's
Yeah.
how you sell someone insurance. What is it? Platinum insurance purchase. What kind of platinum insurance purchase? It's a platinum insurance purchase. What are they getting charged for? Platinum insurance. That's it. Yeah, there you go. It's that simple. No need for anything more.
Sick.
Mm-hmm.
I charged 5,000.
Yep. It's 3,200 on the live server right now, I'm pretty sure. All right, a little something. Like I said, that automatically gets put on their profile. You never have to adjust any of the charges based on insurance. But if you take a look at the bottom of one of the invoice, on the left it shows the full price before insurance. In the middle it shows what insurance they had while the invoice was being made. And then on the right it shows what amount they paid. Obviously, insurance doesn't cover insurance, because that would be dumb.
Do people
So
have
in
to
this
come
case,
back
obviously,
every month to buy new insurance?
Yes, it's not a yes. We're not that evil. We don't have recurring subscriptions. They
Okay.
actually have to physically. Well, technically, we are evil because if they forget to renew it and they get fucked, they get charged a lot. And obviously, we don't sell insurance to injured people. They get charged for treatment first, then they get to buy it. So if you ever show up to someone with a helicopter and they're like, "Oh my god, my platinum ran out yesterday," whoops, you're bad.
Ooh.
Our SOPs say we're gonna treat you and bill you first, then you can go ahead and purchase insurance if you want.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, in the case if you take a look at the previous invoices you made for actual things, I paid 0, right? Because I have platinum. So you see the total that I would have paid, my insurance, which is platinum, and then 0. So you never have to worry about that at all. So if people yell at you, "I have platinum insurance, don't charge me," it's fine. Just remind them you're not charging them. You're putting in all the
Writing an
paperwork,
invoice.
so their medical profile is up to date, and all of their injuries are, mentioned. So there's no discrepancies, and if they have platinum insurance, they will not pay for anything. So that they don't have to worry about that. All right, beautiful. We will not make a medical report because there's no need, because it's literally the same thing. The only difference is it doesn't have the charge fee. There is one detail. You can actually add pictures to reports, whereas that function does not work on invoices for now.
Oh.
Hopefully it'll get fixed, but yeah, for now it doesn't work.
Oh, so it just doesn't add a picture?
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
it just won't work for some reason on
Okay.
the invoice. Hopefully we'll get it fixed, but you have the option on both, but for some reason only in reports it works.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Ooh,
that
we're going
all?
into that was basically all of the paperwork. Yes.
Wow.
Well,
Let's
not
order
basically.
a pizza.
That was all of the paperwork. The only difference is now, either more or less details when it comes to invoices, depending on, the type of call you're responding to. But now we're going to
Sweet.
actually. All right. Who here has put somebody in a bed before at the hospital?
Yep.
Oh,
You have?
I don't have
Okay.
friends.
Well, now you have rescue.
Oh. What the
All
fuck
right.
is that?
That's a sword. Don't worry about it. Anyway, first thing you're gonna learn is you have multiple ways of picking people up. As we said, you have option to carry both ways and escort. You can either do that by looking at a person, the way I'm assuming you're doing it right now. You can also use a command, either type carry and then type, or you don't have to type. You can just type carry, or you can type escort. Right? Because sometimes looking at a body that's moving around at the menu is going to be difficult.
Sliding down a mountain.
You can also bind, carry, and escort as well. We recommend that you bind escort as well. That will allow you to grab a body out of a pile that's dead without any issues, and you will never pick up, a attackmate who's standing close to you, because carry picks up anybody who's closest to you.
Oh.
But escort only picks up dead people and people who are cuffed. So if you're ever in a situation where you have to pick up a dead body and it's difficult, go ahead and just escort them, right? So go ahead and do that. Either click on their body and choose escort, or type escort.
Let's go.
And there you go. Now you have your person on a stretcher. And let's go ahead and head to the closest elevator. Both of them are same length, so doesn't matter.
Going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
Road trip.
You both are
road
good
trip.
on time, right? Because I'm specifically taking a little bit more with you, so you get a
guess
little
so.
bit extra training and attention than normally. As long
And I
as you
am
know.
getting a bit tired, but
I mean,
Yeah.
it's learning what is. All right, we're in a elevator. Remember what we first thing we talked about elevator? Yep, you can go ahead and do that, and now carry them. You can either look at them or just type carry.
let's go, princess.
No, you're actually gonna
Oh,
hold
no.
them very funny when they're dead.
It's
Let's
really
go.
funny.
Now
It's
you
fun.
go alone to floor 3.
Bye.
Ta-da!
Let's go.
Whee!
Oh, I got bloody shoe steps. Footsteps. Footsteps.
And to general treatment we go.
I don't like that I'm getting poked by a sword.
Oh well. Oh well. Do you know what happens the instant you put a player in the bed?
They get revived, right?
Yep, instantly. They can spam X and stand right up. That's why in most cases we don't put people in bed until we're done with paperwork, or at least have them identified, right? Because that allows them to just spam X and just run out. Obviously that's a report, but why give people give people an excuse to low quality RP when you could just make sure you're doing your job. So no putting people in bed until we identify them, unless it's like reasonable in C, because a mass casualty, right? You don't have the time to identify them all. We have 10 doctors on the field, but like 5 TACMED to bring them in. So obviously you shouldn't worry about identifying every single one, because we have doctors that can do that as well. Meanwhile, you have your duties that needs better care of. So obviously that's the important thing. Don't put people in bed before you're like know who they are, etc., etc. So even if if they run, you can still invoice them. So that's the first part. Now, can you guess what's the difference between a bandage and a medkit?
I have no idea about that.
No
part.
idea.
All right.
I'm guessing one of them revived.
Go ahead and get out of bed.
Yeah.
Do you
It's my
both have
turn.
both?
Yes.
My. Yeah,
Nice.
I got it. I'll get fucked. Oh shit! Never mind.
I just wanted to make yours longer. worry about it.
This is awkward. Okay,
All
I'm
right.
out of. Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Press
My
F4.
view is just okay. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. All right. How to use a medkit? All right. Let me explain. Medkit is used to bring people back from the dead. So that's how you quote unquote pick people up once they are knocked out, right? While now, go ahead and do that.
With the medkit, yeah.
Or you can just click on them and you'll have an option to treat injuries as well.
Oh, I see.
Ow!
All right. Now, can you tell us what happened to your health?
Small.
Yeah, it doesn't give you health. It literally just
Well-
picks you up. But you're a glass cannon, right? So that's where bandages comes in. Bandages are a regeneration potion, healing potion, right? You apply them, and people will, regenerate all their health eventually. So if you ever, are on the scene and you want to give somebody a full health, you got to pick them up using medkit and then apply a bandage, right? That's the mechanic part of it. Obviously, you can RP whatever you want, right? You don't have to specifically mention using it. You can do whatever you want. It's applying ice packs, blah blah blah. But it's just like mechanically,
go.
you use a medkit to put them back up, and then use the bandage so their health regenerates at a rapid pace up to full health. There are drugs who also, medicine who also does the same thing. But again, we don't use medicine. We use that. So that's that. Now, can you guess what's a crucial detail about using those things on a patient? You have to mention it in paperwork. Just applying the charge, field treatment is not enough. We have a bunch of rules that are all mentioned in SOPs and in the live server on the dashboard. So what you would have to do in a situation where you field treat someone, well, first of all is never field treat them until the paperwork is done. Do you
Okay.
think that's unreasonable? Because
that
a lot
makes
of people
sense.
say, because a lot of people complain that why do we prioritize doing paperwork instead of saving a patient's life?
That actually
You
makes a
know
lot of
what
sense.
I have to say to that?
No.
Because people will get up and start running away.
No, like logically, if a person is capable of standing back up and all of the medics have to do is help them up on the field, they're not fucking dying, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna pick up someone who got shot in the head, right? Because in that case, we toss them in the ambulance and we rush them to the fucking hospital. But if someone is complaining about stubbing their toe, right, then they can lay on the ground for a minute while we do the paperwork because they're not dying. Because if they were dying, we would not be picking up them out on the scene and we will not be doing field treatment. So that's very simple, logical reason why we always finish up paperwork before doing field treatment. Obviously, the actual reason is so they cannot run off or attack us or do anything without getting billed, right? You always identify, finish up paperwork, then field treat them. But like, in a case where people are like, where I'm dying, I'm like, you're not dying because if you were dying, I wouldn't be able to help you. I would have to rush you to the hospital. Right? This is very logical, right? You're either critical and you have to go to the hospital, or you're fine. And if you're fine, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
You crouch over them, you put an IV with painkillers so they don't have to complain about being in pain. If they have insurance, you don't have to care about people who don't have insurance. That's how we do things, right? We encourage play into the idea of only respecting people who have insurance, especially platinum insurance, and everyone else is a lesser citizen. We save everyone's lives, but we don't care about them as much, right? That's the whole idea.
So that's why I wasn't treated well.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely. You will get insulted. You'll be spat on. You'll have your, things
Jesse
done
got
with.
treated with a freaking jackhammer and leeches and yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, platinum insurance members get balloons, champagne, lap dances if that's what they're into, whatever. There's people without platinum insurance are lesser citizens. People with platinum insurance are gods. That's how we roll with it.
Not for
That's
Jesse.
that's the whole idea.
Jesse's not going to be
right?
that.
To spice it up and make it interesting. We're trauma team from Cyberpunk who only cares about people with actual insurance, but we will also save lives, I guess.
I guess.
reluctantly and insulting them. Yeah, we will do our
If your
job.
character doesn't
not
want to
with a
go
smile.
down that path, would that be okay?
That would absolutely be conflict that would have to be resolved in character. Because,
cool.
What do you mean? You mean you wouldn't like?
So, like, if
I'm assuming you wouldn't want to be mean, right?
Yeah,
Your character
so
wouldn't be mean
yeah,
to people.
exactly. Exactly. So like my character kind of like her decision, obviously this is like meta kind of deal, but like her decision to join TAC Med is to be like the sunshine.
Yeah, to be the change for the better, right? To be the one who actually cares about everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Feel that-
entirely in character conflict. I
Cool.
don't think you would be
Sick.
you wouldn't be fired. You would probably be ridiculed for it and all of that. But like, oh, see, it's not.
Cool.
It's part of like in character RP. Oh, see,
Sick.
there's no rules about it. You don't actually have to respect not caring
Yeah.
about people unless they're platinum insurance, etc., etc.
Yeah, I was just curious if
Hell,
it was
for
like
the longest time
a
for the longest
mind-
time I was the nicest TACMed ever back when Maria was strictly a creepy doll and I was obviously everyone's friend, and other than doing very creepy kind of treatment and being very creepy, everyone loved me. So
Yeah.
like trust me. And Chloe as well. Everybody loves Chloe. She's other than now she's becoming a little bit of a tired annoyed mom because she has to deal with so much shit. But yeah, there's a lot of people who lean
yeah,
into being
I was just
the
curious
nice
if like
one.
we would
It's
have
fine.
to roleplay it as like being brainwashed into like being an asshole.
No. That's entirely
Cool.
up to in character if you
Perfect.
want or not, right? You're
Amazing.
not actually being brainwashed. We are
Yeah.
attempting to brainwash you.
Yes.
But if we fail, it's okay. We're gonna continue trying. And I guess
Cool.
if it ever becomes a problem, we'll just fire you.
Cool.
Oh lord, watch them put medication in our drinks or some shit. I'm leaving.
You don't have to worry about that. Just drink this black tea. It's all good.
Just
You
drink
do
the
not enjoy
Kool-Aid.
free Don't enjoy free refreshment provided by your employee. Who do you work for? Who do you work for? Who do you
I
work for?
work for the god.
Yes, glory to our Stotska. Papers, please, and all of that.
I pray.
All right. So that's basically the healing mechanics, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have the beds and we have the items that we use. Only one at a time. And let's go back to those invoices.
Mm-hmm.
Finished before we pick up a patient up. So they don't have an excuse to do any dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
Now
Uh-huh.
we have code or an invoice. That is field treatment. It is FT, right? Short for field treatment. You'll put that in every invoice name that is field treatment. Don't worry about it. It's mentioned on the public board on the live server. We also have a code for ranger transportation because we actually have a deal with the rangers that if they themselves transport a patient to the hospital, we charge that patient for transport fee as if we brought them and then give the money back to rangers. So that would be RTP. That would be ranger transportation to put on the invoice title. Because it's a specific invoice. So same for field treatment. Has to be in the title. So FT in the title for field treatment has to be specified inside the invoice and what kind of equipment you use, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to always mention in a field treatment. You can just make a separate template for field treatment invoices what kind of equipment you use, right? And that's specifically items, right? So if you're doing a field treatment, that is you putting an ice pack on somebody and you don't use anything, then you specify that no equipment was used, right? If you do a field treatment and you ended up using a bandage and a medkit, then you specify inside of the invoice that you used one medkit and one bandage, or just medkit and bandage, because it's always going to be one, right? Because a person
Wait.
can only use one.
What is the difference between an ice pack and a bandage?
Oh, we don't have ice packs. Ice pack is an RP thing.
Okay.
Wrong one. Look at me.
Don't worry.
I put an ice
Slay.
pack on you, right? But I didn't use any items. This is an RP treatment, right? That's the difference. We still charge it as a field treatment, but you're not coming back to the hospital and buying a new medkit or a bandage after doing that because you don't need it, right? That's the difference.
Okay.
So you always specify in a field treatment invoice what kind of items you used, right? So that
What if they get mad that they didn't gain any health?
well,
I have a feeling this could happen.
well, you wouldn't use it. You wouldn't use RP only treatment in a situation where the person is hurt, right?
Mhm.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean-
like you.
A lot of people who come to, well, well, general hospitals asking for ice packs maybe got like hit by,
Yeah,
I don't know, got hit
that's
by their
beds.
friend.
That's in the beds. You don't actually use items in the hospital because that's what beds are for, right? You don't do field treatment for somebody who comes into the hospital and wants to,
Yeah,
a
no,
little
no.
touch up.
But if they weren't in the hospital, for example.
If they weren't in the hospital and they are complaining about being hurt and it's obvious that they are injured, then yes, obviously you use a bandage on them. Yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying I've seen situations
bring them to
before
the
where
hospital.
an injury was strictly RP, right?
Mhm.
It was, I don't know, a person who wasn't shot but was shot next to the head, so their head was ringing, right? And I gave them, some medication to calm down, etc. Right? You don't have to use anything, but that's still field
Okay.
treatment. You're doing medical work on the field. That's specifically it. Every time you actually, obviously, have to heal someone, you use the med kit or the bandage, depending on what kind of injury it is mechanically. But RP, whatever you want it out, right? Like
Yeah.
I never use quote unquote a bandage on someone. That in most cases they have bruises and I'm helping them out in the scene. I'm putting an ice pack on them and securing it with the bandages, right? That's how I'm making sense of it. So you just RP it out. But the important detail in an invoice is what actual item you used. So that when you come back to the hospital, you're gonna resupply. And when we look back, we see that, oh, Caroline has purchased a medkit and a bandage. We go back to Caroline's invoices and we see a field treatment where she used a medkit and a bandage. If we don't see that, that means you did something wrong. And you're gonna get fucked.
And then we have to
because you're
purchase
stealing
one of
from the
each again.
hospital. Yep, and you get fired.
I was shocked
thank
you're
you
still
all.
on. It's
All right.
because this
Everybody
is,
knows how to report people.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. It's just
Yes.
report, right?
It's just report, but guess what? That doesn't do anything other than make a snapshot of your surroundings in the game. You actually have to open a ticket in Discord to make anything happen, right? So that's how you report, and do that to everybody. We have wonderful staff. People don't get banned on this server unless it's like 100% deserved, right? Like the only reason for someone to get permaban on this server is either they do something unthinkable or they legit disagree with what is being called out, and they don't want to learn, right? So if you call someone for low quality RP, the worst thing that could happen, right, would be they get called in ticket by staff and explain how what they did was wrong and how to do better. So never be afraid to report people. I know from my previous experience in servers, I was always afraid to report people because I know
Very
how
much,
sometimes
yeah.
staff teams can be, but I know, just me saying that is not a lot, but trust me, we have a wonderful staff team. They are being extremely kind, and like you will help so many people by reporting them rather than not doing it, because it actually helps them learn. And as I said, only way for on PurpleRP to be permabanned is either to do the unthinkable or like actively, not agree with the direction of the server. If someone gets called for RDM and then gets called into a ticket and be like, nah, fuck you, that isn't RDM, I get to drive over people for no reason, then obviously, that person will then probably get suspended or permabanned. But that's their choice, right? They are just disagreeing with how we see things and rules. But in any situation, anything will happen is just an explanation of what they did wrong and how to do better. And there's, it's actually a very healthy way of dealing with people, committing oopsies in RP. So whenever you see somebody run in without saying anything and run out, just report them.
So when you
And,
report, does it
everything
take does it take a log of like a
Yes,
short clip and stuff?
everything. It's not a clip. It's not a clip. It's just a snapshot of that instance around your character. So it's all people around you, all props, all the
that's cool.
data in the background. Yeah, basically just snaps all the data that's currently loaded in where you are
So-
in the world.
Do we have to put in a description of the person because I have horrible memory?
In that case, if you yourself are, for example, not streaming, and you don't have a clipping, way where you can just always save the last few minutes, right? So you don't have a way of collecting evidence. In that case, I would suggest doing two things: the report, and second one, taking a screenshot of the player. Even if you obviously it would be good to find out what their name is, but if it's literally just them running in and out, then at least taking a screenshot and asking anyone at the hospital staff if they know the name, because that's that's the details that's gonna make it easier for staff to find that person. Because obviously there's always a lot of people at the hospital, so they might take a while to find that person. They will, but it's just we try to make it
If
easier.
a person
you
just run in and out, and they someone in the hospital, for example, recognizes them, are you still able to charge them?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. They don't have to be close to be charged. They can.
They just need to be in the server.
As long as I'm unsure. Sometimes we tried it to people being extremely far away and it worked and it didn't. But like the rule that's absolutely there is they have to be online. I'm not sure about the distance, but you can absolutely charge people who are driving away from the hospital. That's more than close enough. I've charged people at Eclipse while they were at Bolingbrook, right? And it worked. So that's like halfway across the map. So you don't have to worry too much about the distance. It's mostly about who's online. And you do it by, the ID being connected to the phone number that's connected to the bank. That's, it's all government systems. And, people don't get an excuse of, oh, it's, power gaming, that we know that it's not them, right? Because, because a lot of criminals will, try to use that, like remain anonymous. And they fail to realize that we as medical staff are not obligated to report anything, so it's all character based. If we care about the shit they did or not, most of us don't report anything. We play very, very much on the gray line where we just do our job. We don't do more than necessary for the police. We comply with the police. We don't necessarily make their life too easy. So people eventually learn that giving your name to a doctor is not the same as giving your name to a police officer. So yeah, that's that. Speaking of people like that, 95s. You're gonna deal with that, right? Yep, people who get arrested and get shot down or whatever, and they get to be picked up before they get processed. You arrived on scene. It's more than it's always gonna be a 52 request, unless miraculously you arrived on scene before PD requested your assistance, right? But if a suspect gets shot down, the first thing they do is they call TACMED to make sure they don't die. So you arrived on scene, you turn towards the police officer, and what do you think are the most important and crucial things to ask first?
If they're in cuffs?
That's an extra detail. Actually, the first thing you want to specify is, are they a 95, right? Because if they're not a 95 and it's just a person that's injured that PD has come across and they're just calling for medical for them, that's fine. But if they are a 95, then comes the next question. Are they cuffed? Those are the two things we care about, right? Because if they're 95 and they're cuffed, there's nothing else we need to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Because we can heal them, and doesn't matter if they haven't been charged, they got a shotgun up their ass, we couldn't care less. They cuffed, they're not gonna hurt us, they're not gonna threaten the hospital. So as long as they're a 95 and cuffed, we're good. There's also an extra question if you wanna commit to the RP. Officer, do you have insurance? Very important.
Why does the officer need insurance?
So we make money. And the officer obviously doesn't have to, pay when they get shot. It's just we sell that insurance left and right. Mention it.
Okay.
We're gonna teach you to mention it left and right to people, right? That's strictly it. Lord. Police asked us to come on the scene to help them, and we come, and you're like, but do you have insurance? Officer, do you have insurance?
Would you like to complete an...
Yeah, you get hurt quite often, don't you, officer? Would you like some insurance? The price increases every week. It's smart to get it. You can even stack months. You can pay a lower price if you buy multiple months at once.
Lord.
Yeah. So that's it. And you bring the 95s to the room. You either treat them in that room locked, or you ask for a doctor to come in and treat them. Or if you don't feel, comfortable, you can just literally dump them in the room and leave it locked behind you and let the quote unquote local nurses do all the work. You don't have to be in the room.
Could you radio the doctors and say?
Yes, absolutely. We're all on the same server. You would normally, when we have doctors on duty, every time you have a 95, because you're not bringing them here, you're bringing them down, right? And that's not where the doctors are. You'd always, one person in the team would go, after you're calling dispatch, TAC team 176 back, pillbox 295s, right? That's the typical call out. That means dispatch. TAC Team 1 is going back to pillbox with 2 suspects in custody who are not critical, and then following that up, you would say, could we have a doctor meet us at 95 room?
Yeah.
It's very simple, right? Absolutely, you would always request them, right? Yeah, same thing if you're bringing a patient on a Valkyrie and they're critical, right?
Yeah.
You can ask a doctor to already be ready on the rooftop to pick up the patient and move into their care.
Or be ready at surgery or something. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah. You can just could the doctors stage or prep OR room and bringing a critical patient. It's all of that. Radio is all for that. And there's not codes for everything. You can go ahead and just explain as long as you're being concise and not hogging the radio. Don't worry, that's doctor's job. They're horrendous at the radio. That's basically it. Other than one detail, we don't keep prisoners at the hospital. It's not something you're going to encounter because we've trained PD very well on it. There's a very simple rule to the hospital. If we have 95s and they have been treated, guess what happens to them?
Prison.
Yeah, they get kicked the fuck out of the hospital because we're not a prison here, right? We don't imprison people. So once the patient is fully treated and there are 95s, police need to start working on transporting them out, right? We will not be assholes.
Sorry, Chad, I know this
we will
is
not
really
yell
boring.
at police officers unless you want to do it in character.
I need
or not
you
being
guys
able
to
to
be here with
immediately
me,
mobilize
so I
and decide who's going to pick them up.
keep
But there are
attention,
very
'cause
basic
otherwise
rules,
I would
right?
have
There has
lost
to be a
out
police
by now.
officer on scene at least at the hospital if a 95 is done getting treatment. If we have a 95 that doesn't have a police officer, looking over them, and we're done with them, the first thing we do is we go on the PD radio and yell at them, why the fuck do we have a 95 and PD, aren't here? Are you coming? Guess what? You get a response? Good. Sometimes you will not get a response. Well, I guess that's the time to let them know that 95 will soon be let go if nobody comes to take care of them. Because that's what we do. You feel free to start a timer, let them know that they have 5 minutes to come here and pick that 95 up. And that's specifically in a case where they're not doing anything, right? If we have police at the hospital and it's a giant shootout, right? And you have 10 police officers trying to decide who's picking up who, that's fine, right? You're not gonna come with that. But if we have 0 police or the police doesn't give a fuck, that's when you go to the radio and be like, hey, you had a job to do because this is not a prison. They will not be left in that 95 room because that's what police love to do in the old hospital. Just leave people in the hospital for like an hour or 2 hours while they do their paperwork and work, where most of them wouldn't even count that time towards being in custody. So they just got to hold people hostage forever while they fucked around. So now we force them that they have to pick them up, and if they want to leave them with no RP, they can do that at their own place, right? Not at our own place. At our place, you actually get RP. Yeah, once medical is done with them, you go with the police, or you get if they don't, if literally there's no response and 5 minutes pass and there's still no response, guess what? You just unlock the doors, say "C'est la vie," enjoy, and that person cuffed can just walk up, and we couldn't care less.
Yeah.
So that's how we treat those.
Cool.
All right, and that's basically it. That's all the details in a little bit more detail than during a normal re-education. We're not doing scene training right now because of how little of us here are.
Yeah.
And because that you get to be a part of a team of 3 or 4, so you will absolutely be able to just be in the back and watch others work while you get used to how we approach scenes naturally. But basic pointers. We don't hang around on scenes too long. We treat patients if they need transport in the ambulance. right? So never be afraid of just, coming to the patient, doing the bare minimum, snatching them, putting them in the ambulance, and then continuing the medical RP in the ambulance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what used to be the issue, is that we would come onto a scene and then somebody would be kneeling over a patient for 15 minutes doing every single little bit before we start transporting them, and that can get boring, right? We want to keep it a little bit moving, right? So if we're transporting somebody, there's no need to do too much on the scene before they get in the ambulance, right? We have a stretcher in the ambulance, you can stand in the ambulance, you can sit in the back of the ambulance, so just always prioritize just
If you can tell,
being
like, by, reading the room, if you can tell that the person, like, enjoys the field treatment more than, on the ambulance, would that be okay for us to do?
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about what I'm saying is like the
Shootout errors,
the
things.
default. Yeah, I'm talking about the default approach, right? But obviously you will adjust everything based on the patient,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If
Well,
a patient is giving you if a patient is giving you information that makes you feel like things are necessary on the scene, and loading them in the ambulance would be actively against what they want done in RP, then it's up to you in character to see if you respect that or not. It's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. Some people will not respect it in character, and it's
Yeah.
different than,
Yeah, of course.
It's different because we have actual assholes working here. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it comes to actual OC approach, yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Also, this is probably a question that is like to be found in RP, but like, how is it like if once we, get higher up in the rank, do you guys like do ride-alongs and stuff, or is that like a question more to ask in RP?
We do not do ride-alongs.
Cool. Oh. Perfect. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, we gave one ride along in our entire existence, and it wasn't even
Did
a
it not
ride
go
along.
well?
It was no, it went very well. It was a secret mission with a DA being undercover, and you will never know about it because there's some very secretive stuff happening at the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you might know about it. Who knows? We'll find out in character.
Yeah.
I am looking for some people. We'll see.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out and see how people behave.
Okay.
Look for things I enjoy and
Okay.
find valuable, and we'll see about. Yeah, I'm a vanguard at the hospital, which is technically normal command, but you'll see me bossing around
Yeah.
high command for a little bit. Yeah. Find out in RP.
It is what it is.
How the hell do you do that with the gun and weapons and
It's-
stuff?
Oh,
in
F3.
your emo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, F5. Sorry. At the very bottom, you get pistol aim and pistol pullout.
Oh shit!
Don't mess with the aim, because if you do the gang or hellbilly with a normal gun, you'll actually shoot twice.
Oh
I'll
jeez.
show you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do that, I'm now holding a gun like a gangster, right?
Mhm.
Right? I'm all cool to the side.
Oh
See?
jeez, I see.
I just clicked once.
Yeah,
See?
that's
So, like,
insane.
don't do that unless you want to deal with that. But yeah, but
That's
How
so
does the
cool.
hillbilly shoot?
oh, you hold
on.
it. Hillbilly is how Chief Brisket shoots. Hey,
Oh
Hey, yo,
jeez.
boy.
where you think you're going, boy?
That's cool.
Yeah. You can also toss it away if you want. If you make
Love
it
that.
disappointed, pull out your literally fucking toss your gun away.
Wait. Which one is that?
Disappointed.
Disappointed.
It's, yeah, that's a pull out. You also pull it out very funny.
Ah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. Bye. That's funny. It's like
Alright.
I had no idea about place emotes until like a couple of days ago. That's kind of like, and I've been in the server for months now.
Well,
Yeah, homophobe.
it depends what kind of players you are. Not everyone
Yeah.
explores everything they can. All right, so that's pretty much it. You're gonna learn a
Heck
lot
yeah.
driving with a tag team. I expect you to at least somewhat remember the stuff you are supposed to get when it comes to your equipment and uniform. Then remember the rank. don't worry, we'll have, command staff and somebody who's on the live right now to walk you through all of that. Also, there's some additional things you're gonna have to do before or afterwards that I'm going to just... God fucking damn it, I'm so addicted to RP. Like, I cannot look off screen without doing something in character that makes me look like I'm occupied with something else. Like, I cannot click off GTA without pulling out my MDT as an excuse to look
Jesse
somewhere
always
else.
pulls out a phone.
Yeah, I would, but I'm now used to having an MDT since I do a lot of government RP now that I'm not used to doing before. Anyway, all right, I'll just DM you both some things that I want you to all to read through, just a short list of things.
We don't have to use the prio queue for
No, you don't have to.
Sick. Perfect.
Yep, but you can, right? Because like
of course.
like,
Yeah.
very, very rarely, whatchamacallit? Very rarely, there's a queue at all. Since we have like 600 slots.
Yeah.
It's insane. And now with the VoIP being better, hopefully it's never an issue having too many players at once. Even, we already had more than I would expect the server to handle anyway.
Yeah.
But on top of that, the only thing I would recommend for a prio queue, it's useful after a restart. If you wanna... Because obviously everybody, gets thrown in one by one and then gets back in. So if you're low on normal queue, you can go ahead and get on EMS queue, and then you'll be one of the first people in this allowed back in the city.
And if we do that, are we allowed to stick on that queue even if we go off duty, or would we have to?
Yes. The it's like nobody so far has been abusing it. So like the basic rule is, hey, if you're gonna use a prio queue, at least you gotta first of all, you gotta fly in on that character, right? And actually do some work, right? Stick around for an hour or 2 or 3, right? Like, yep.
Perfect.
But nobody, like I said, there's barely ever a reason to do it. Like the only thing is, like I said, for the restarts, if you ever like very, very unlucky and we're like one of the last people to get kicked, then that will help you get in real quick. That saves you 60 seconds, but that's besides the point. All right.
Perfect.
You all are ready to be thrown into deep waters, knowing almost nothing when it comes to actual work. So yeah, you're gonna enjoy learning everything from scratch.
Yay.
Mind if I take a picture? Like, of myself?
No, go ahead. Do whatever you want.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. I need to fix how I look.
No worries. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and grab that info that I'm gonna send you. Okay, a lot of things on this list you have already done in the past, so don't worry about it. Just look through it, see what you have to do. Also, there's fingerprints and DNA mentioned to get that with the SASP.
And getting all little IDs and stuff.
I would actually ask that you do that before you come to the hospital. Or try to do that with the PD before you come to the hospital. See if you succeed. You might not. They don't like doing that at all. Sometimes even charge people for doing that, or us. But it'll be a nice little gesture of having one thing done.
Yeah.
All right, let me find you all. That's you. I'm gonna send it now. I'm gonna look through it to see if there's anything I need to tell you to adjust. And then you. Here you go. All right, let me see through it. You joined Discord, you submitted the tag request, you got the intake form. I'm assuming both of you got the intake form done.
Yep.
You got the SOPs. If you need, there's a link to find them easily. You got the re-education. You got the call sign. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and get you updated on the roster. So you just have to look at the 0.7. So I'd ask that you go ahead and get those fingerprints and DNA or try to get them with the PD first, just go ahead and, you know, go to the PD and request that, and then swing by the hospital and do everything else in 0.7.
Okay, so first off, go to the PD.
Yeah, like
then go
look
get
at
the
0.7
badge.
and just no. You go back to the basic 7,
Oh.
which is on the live server, speed with a command member to be promoted,
Gotcha.
etc., etc. I just want you to get the stuff with the police done first, then you go to the hospital and speed with command. You know, get a promotion, get a badge with them, get all the equipment, etc., etc. I just want you to do this little extra thing off duty first, so it, you know, shows us good initiate. So you'll be maybe you'll get a little pat on the back for being a good initiate. Just a little winks
So
from
we're
me.
gonna fill out the government roster thing.
No, you have already done so, right? The intake form, you did that, or are you very
I did that.
fresh in the? Yeah, that's fine. The only thing that has to be happen is just your rank needs to be adjusted, which I will take care of. So everything in that list has already been taken care of. You just have the 0.7 to complete.
Cool.
Yep. Excited to see you both on the live server. Probably, I don't know. I gotta go back to campaigning for governor. I hate it. This is the second time I'm doing it. Why am I doing
I'm
this
not
to
around
myself?
on the weekend, but I'll be around from Monday.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll get a chance to meet you in character.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want that. I'm
Yeah,
the biggest
no.
bitch in this fucking hospital.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so rude to you.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen, Jessie will deal with it. She'll be fine. She'll probably get home and cry in a corner, but she's fine.
No crying at hospital.
Yeah, exactly. She won't cry in the hospital.
All right. To get you in the RP mood, here are some few things that we say at the hospital, so you get the lingo. First of all, no crying at hospital. Same as no clowns and no furries at hospital. What else? Always check storage first. That's the rule when it comes to, you know, the armory back there. Always check storage first. What are you? I mentioned that while we are getting equipment. What are you?
What are you?
Small.
Piñata. A
piñata.
Because yes. What does that stand for?
Yes.
You have valuable equipment on you that people will want to
Yes.
steal. That's why you're always aware of your surrounding on skulls, etc. So if you are ever get called, what are you? You know, like Gordon Ramsay style, you know what to yell out. I am a piñata. There you go.
I am a pinata sandwich.
Yep. If you want extra points, I am a piñata with a gun.
Oh
my
jeez.
God.
Oh my god.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're welcome.
I mean, I wasn't finished taking the picture, but thank.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
God damn it, how long does it take to take a picture?
I was trying to get this right blinking angle.
I'm a piñata.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
I got a cool scar now.
Thank you. Good boy. And
Get out of here!
I am.
Get out of here!
There we go. All right, chat. I am so tired. I am so sleepy. There we go. Are they streaming? Is my question. Yeah, they are. All right. Let's raid. Lol DB Nico. I think that's the name. Who plays they did basically the re-education, so you guys can go and give a little follow and stuff and things. Yeah, well, thank you so much for being here. I am so fucking tired. I am so fucking tired. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. We'll see. Like, this was very tame. It was nice to, like, figure out that, like, at least that character, like, meeting the OC, meeting the roleplay OC, it's kind of like, yeah, that's nice. Okay, so they are not an asshole in real life, so that puts me, like, at ease. So yeah. Well, chat, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you hanging out for a bit. Sorry I didn't talk too much with you guys, but it was kind of expected. Yeah, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for this week. Thank you for getting us above and beyond the sub goal. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for just being new. And I will see you next week on Monday. I love you all very much. Bye. 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 Bye.